Podmortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is a production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is proud to be a WGA signatory company, and they fully stand by the WGA and its members in their fight for extremely reasonable standards. Accordingly, they are not accepting scripts or treatment submissions at this time, but both William and Xxena Rush are available via email free of charge to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers. Their information will be made available in the show notes. Ahead of the strike, William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Coffee with Baba, Day by Day, They Slay, Before, Pack is Here, Abacue, The Winemaker, and Where Do You Draw the Line?
2 feature films, Group and Immersion, are slated for release this fall. Absolutely no picket lines will be crossed, and no collective bargaining agreements will be violated in the making of either of these films. And very generously, Original Cinematic is providing all Podmortem patrons with a special link to view these films. If arrangements can be made, they will even schedule a virtual or in-person screening for our patrons. We cannot thank Original Cinematic enough for their contribution to our show and the horror community as a whole. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Salutations! Welcome to Podmortem. I'm Reneé Hunter-Vasquez, joined as always by my co-host, my husband, and my brother.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Travis Hunter.
This week, we're recording live from the Titty Twister, discussing the 1996 action horror film From Dusk Till Dawn. This film was directed by Robert Rodriguez with a story by Robert Kurtzman and a screenplay by Quentin Tarantino. While it was initially intended to be a sequel to the Tales from the Crypt film Demon Knight, this film quickly took on a life of its own. What begins as a harrowing crime drama takes an unexpected twist into the land of horror and creature features. With an iconic and committed cast, fun practical effects, and an unexpected tonal shift, From Dusk Till Dawn is considered by many horror fans to be a cult classic. This film was suggested to us by friends of the show, Carissa, Eggy, Sophie Hodson, Probably My Jugs, and Cookie. We want to thank them so much for their support as well as this suggestion. So, what did you guys think of From Dusk Till Dawn the first time you saw it?
I think I was like 12 or 13 when I watched this, and I really liked it. I haven't seen it in a while, but watching it again, I really still do like this movie. There is some outdated shit and stuff they say, and that's not too cool in the movie. But if you can get past that, I still really enjoy this movie. There comes a certain point in the movie when it's just kind of goes, and then shit is just kind of going nuts. And I think from about then on, it's like the movie is just nonstop thing after thing after thing, and it's fantastic. I love a lot of this movie's old. Vampires in this movie. The way they look, a lot of the creatures and stuff they do in this movie is really cool. And I don't think that it's I guess dated. Like, you can tell too much. Like, I think it still holds up pretty good. The effects look fantastic. There's some shots that I remember that I seen that I was like, man, I always remember that shot. It's like, this is fantastic. And the people in it are great.
The people, I think, surprise me every single time. I always forget when certain people pop up, especially later in the film. I'm like,
yeah.
It's surprising. But no, I've enjoyed this movie for many years. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Nay and I watched this with our dad. And I remember really enjoying it the first time. It's such a very interesting way that they do this film because it feels like it's divided into two parts.
Yeah.
And it feels very much Tarantino and very much Rodriguez in different areas.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it more as we go through because it really is, as you said in your intro, it is a crime drama.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, you know what? let's see what happens if we put some vampires.
Yeah. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, it's out of the bag.
The vamp's out of the bag.
It really does. It feels like a throwback to that exploitation drive-in style movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Tarantino and Rodriguez are both very fond of it. It almost feels like a precursor to Grindhouse.
Yeah.
And I very much appreciate a lot of things they did in this film. I will say it's definitely not perfect, but it is a lot of fun. For me, I think it gets to a point in the second half where it seems like they're coming up with ideas on the day. And they're like, hey, what if we...
I like that,
I don't
though.
mind it. I don't mind it.
I don't have a problem with it. I will say I think that the first bits are more successful for me. Not that the second half is not successful, but it comes to a point where it's like we're just doing everything. But it's a blast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really complain that much. I will say that you mentioned the design of the vampires. I appreciate a lot of the designs of the vampires, and the other ones I'm like, why does he look like that?
Yeah. There's a couple of times I was like, I know.
It's a mixed bag.
But I feel like there is so much going on. I don't want to say it's hard to not notice them because we did.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's to the extent to where it's like, I don't believe this shit no more. Or you know what I mean? To where it ruins the whole scene.
Yeah.
There is a couple like, come on. But
Yeah.
I mean.
Because some of them are like kind of cartoony.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Or the way that some of them kind of can revert.
Yeah.
Well,
And so,
yeah. No.
You know.
Well,
I'm fine.
there's some editing choices in the movie. Later.
There are.
That were pretty funny. But
Yeah. I will say, though, along with that, it's just funny because they're like, well, everybody takes to it differently.
yeah.
as far as time.
Yeah. But no, and back to repeat the point that you had said of the cast.
Yeah.
When you've got Juliette Lewis, Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, like it's in Tom Savini, like it's just.
Yeah. Fred Williamson.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I was so shocked to see him.
Yeah.
I always forget that he's in this movie, and then he's
Yeah.
just hanging out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell? But no, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, no, I love this. I picked it for my birthday movie.
Yes.
I wanted to do something a little unexpected and out of the box. And like, I hadn't seen it in a few years, but I remember the first time I saw it, it had completely blown me away because nobody sees that coming. Like, there's no foreshadowing. There's no, I heard, south of the border. Like, no, nothing. There's nothing. Everything is fine. Well, not fine, but
Everything is.
everything is, and then it's not. And it's the success in that for me lies in the fact that I was knocked so severely off center that I will believe and accept anything that you're showing me. Because you're right. As it gets later on, we're kind of, oh, they do that now. Okay.
Sure.
But I don't care.
No.
Like, I don't care. I love the practical effects. I love that everybody involved in this clearly gave everything that they had. We've already talked a lot about T and I being fans of Tarantino's his work, not him as a human, but his work. And we all remember how excited I was to do The Faculty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of, when I watched it, it was like all the planets had aligned, and it was, just a blast. And Juliette, I mean, we talk about her so much for some reason.
Yeah.
And now, she's in this, but there are things, and I hadn't seen it in some years. And so I was like, from Dusk Till Dawn, like, all year it's like, well, what are you going to do for your birthday movie for all of us? And it was really getting down to the wire. And so I was just like, from Dusk Till Dawn, because fuck it. I've been saying I want to do it forever. We haven't done it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start working on the script, and I'm like, oh, like some of this is like aging like milk. But like John Paul said, when you get past the horribly like outdated language and whatever, it's a really fun ride. And when you're watching it for the first time, you have literally no idea what's going to happen. It's just cool and kind of gritty, and you can maybe see, we set up these characters and you're like, oh, I know his arc. I know what's going to happen with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just fucking pull the rug out from under you and you're like, oh, we're fighting for our fucking life. None of that mattered.
No.
And I think that's kind of the beauty in it is that, sometimes that's life. You're on this arc or whatever and it just throws you a fucking vampire.
You're taking life lessons from Dusk Till Dawn?
I mean, think about it.
If it works.
All right. I mean...
But like I had said in the intro, this was kind of intended at the beginning to be the sequel to Demon Knight.
Now, I read that also yesterday, and I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that.
It was Robert Kurtzman from K&B who came up with the idea for it.
Okay.
And so they approached Tarantino to write the screenplay, and it was his first paid writing gig.
All right.
It's kind of wild what I read, because when you think of the timing of this movie, you don't really think, like, in my mind, Tarantino is through his career. He's done Reservoir Dogs, he's done Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And then From Dusk Till Dawn comes out.
Yeah.
You don't realize that he wrote this before all of that.
It's wild.
Kurtzman approached him when he was still working at Video Archives. And he paid him $1,500 to write a script. Tarantino sent him writing samples from Natural Born Killers and True Romance, because that's all he had.
Yeah.
And so Kurtzman hired him for it, paid him $1,500, and then that allowed him to quit his job and make Reservoir Dogs, because there was also a deal struck. Kurtzman said that if you write this for us, we'll do the makeup effects for Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That's pretty cool. A little trade.
Yeah.
He's like, here's the deal, okay? That's my Tarantino.
I'll write the movie, all right?
But that at the time it was, like I said, supposed to be the sequel to Demon Knight or whatever.
Right.
And so I think that there was talk of Tarantino directing it, but he declined because he... And saying it like this, when you watch the movie, it sounds kind of funny, but he really wanted to focus on the role that he played in the film.
Well, look.
In this film?
Yeah, I will say I've seen him act a lot. This is probably one of the better Tarantino.
Oh, absolutely. He's a horrible actor. he's not, he does his little cameos or whatever, and most of them are incredibly cringy. But if I wrote and directed a film, my fucking round face is gonna be on the
what?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're even talking about.
I'm gonna be there.
Look, and I'm gonna take up a little more for Quentin. He shouldn't have done the Australian accent in
He
Django.
should not have.
But I think that his cameo in Pulp Fiction was all right. I think his cameo in Reservoir Dogs, he didn't do much. But
He was there. Huh?
He was there. He was Mr. Brown.
He was on time and he knew all his lines.
Yes, the Joan Crawford way. But I think that he's actually acting in this.
Okay.
He is, but he plays such a flat creep that it's whatever. We'll get there, but
yeah.
So it kind of went to obviously Robert Rodriguez, and then that's when it became something else completely, and obviously no longer the sequel to Demon Knight. And I had seen because I watched the Full Tilt Boogie, the little documentary they made when they were making this, which I thought would be a gold mine for information, but a lot of it was the crew hanging out and stuff.
Yeah.
Which it was a really cool documentary. It's on YouTube. But Juliette Lewis was doing 4 non-blondes on karaoke and it has nothing to do with the film.
It was more just the vibe.
Yeah, but it was a cool watch. But the one thing that I did learn was they were talking to Robert Rodriguez, and he said that in a lot of horror films that he watches, he feels like they introduce the horror too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when he's reading a horror novel, you kind of establish the tone and you get to know the characters, and then something bad happens and you're worried for them because you've gotten to know them. And that is what he wanted to do with this, is not kind of horror right off the bat, but let's establish where all these characters are going, what they're doing, what they're going through, and then, throw a wrench in all of that.
Yeah.
Which to me, the way that it's done here is, for me, incredibly successful. I've looked at a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and a lot of them do not like it at all. They don't like the tonal shift. They don't like the fact that there's not a lot of I mean, I guess there is kind of closure to that main story, but not whatever. They don't like that it goes so far off the rails and kind of never corrects itself to, all right, now let's get back in that RV or whatever, you know. But that's not what this is. It's just, like, I understand the want for that kind of satisfaction of, you know, oh, that was a satisfying arc for that character to go on. But that's just not what this is.
This is Dusk Till Dawn.
It is, this is from Dusk Till Dawn.
And we, I know I had sent it in our group chat for the show, but watching the bloopers, it looked like George Clooney had a really rough time with his lines at the beginning of it. Like at the beginning of the bloopers, he's just like, hold on, I can get it. Hold on. He's like, damn, he's like struggling with it. And then I found out this was his first acting job, or like his movie.
Film, yeah.
The movie. And I was like, oh shit, you did just do TV. I was like, that makes sense. That you're trying, like, this is you're dipping your toe in it, and it's like, let's fucking do this. It's like, no, I would be nervous as fuck. And then this is the script. You guys like, oh, this is going to be wild as fuck.
And it's such a departure from, he was ER. He was, you know, that it's such a departure from what everybody knows him as, too.
Well, I know he did some Roseanne. He did it.
That's where he started.
Yeah.
Booker.
He was Booker. He dated Jackie.
Yes. But I think that it is that challenge for him as well. And also, I mean, when you're trying to be a leading, like, actor.
No, yeah.
And then you have kind of a reputation from TV, and then and then you're saying some of the shit that he's saying.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big switch. I don't know if they can see him as that kind of doctor again.
Yeah.
It's like, this might be it.
Yeah. Better go for it.
Now, before we kidnap this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Podmortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, then let's get rambling. The film opens with the car traveling down a road during the day. After passing a truck coughing out exhaust, it pulls into the parking lot of Benny's World of Liquor. Texas Ranger Earl McGraw, played by Michael Parks, gets out of the car and takes a look around before heading inside, stretching his calves as he goes.
Michael Parks.
Yes.
Earl McGraw.
Yeah, specifically the character.
The Tarantino verse.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to call it that. I don't know if people call it that.
Sure.
But this is, I think, the first.
Yeah, because he's in Kill Bill and the Grindhouse. Yeah.
But he's playing the same character.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of interesting, especially what we see later.
Especially that, because we're getting into either parallel universe things, which is hinted at by what could just be a mistake in Pulp Fiction, but people are like, no. You know, she says it's the same scene, but she says it two different ways. So that means that they hit, you know, they're in the multiverse.
It was another take.
It was another take. But it either hints to that or the fact that this is the last thing to happen in the Tarantino verse.
Interesting.
Right, because he doesn't die in the other ones, does he?
Correct.
Well, I guess we're just giving it all.
We
going to
did
give
the
it all
spoiler
away.
warning. But I mean, it speaks to one of those things.
Yeah, the movie's old, right? 96.
He hasn't even spoken yet.
But
sorry to this man.
Yes.
But he's also in Django Unchained. He's in Smoking Aces 2, Red State. Like, he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he in Kevin Smith's horror films, Michael Parks is like the secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he is very, very good. Tarantino, on commentary, he was talking about having him cast. That was one of his requests because Robert Rodriguez, of course, is the director, so he doesn't want to get too, you know. But he was like, you need to cast Michael Parks because I wrote this part for Michael Parks.
Oh, shit.
And he was always one of Tarantino's favorite actors. And Tarantino was the first person cast in this film, by the way.
Of course. Well, I mean, it feels like he wrote.
Well, yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that. But Michael Parks was second cast.
All right.
Very
Hell
cool.
yeah.
But the radio warns of a white male suspect who is considered armed and extremely dangerous. I did appreciate the slogan on the front of the liquor store was, if we don't have it, you don't get it.
I mean, it's
You're
accurate.
right, yeah.
Yeah. Can't argue.
But Earl heads inside and is greeted nonchalantly by the clerk, Pete Bottoms, played by John Hawkes. He, I feel, is a very underrated actor. We've talked about him in Identity and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
The harmony, man.
Yeah. He always delivers.
He does. He was another one that I was surprised to see.
Yeah.
They had talked on commentary that this part was written hoping that Steve Buscemi would play it.
I can't believe
Really?
he didn't.
Yeah, and then he was too busy, and then they were going to give it to Tim Roth and make him do a Texan accent, which is something I very much want to see.
I would have liked to see that.
But he was too busy, and so it went to John Hawkes, who interestingly was the second choice in Rodriguez's Desperado when the role went to Steve Buscemi. So it was just a weird...
What the hell?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't think of them as interchangeable,
Yeah.
but
I wouldn't, but they kind of have similar... 90s vibes.
I don't think anybody has a Buscemi vibe. I think it's just Steve Buscemi.
I think they could play brothers.
But Earl heads to the coolers complaining about the heat, and Pete boasts that he hasn't felt any of it. He flips through a magazine and says that he's been inside all day with the AC on. Well, good for you,
Yeah.
Pete. I love that for you.
This isn't about you, Pete.
I'm hot. Earl helps himself to a beer and asks if Pete really didn't even leave for lunch. Pete explains that since he's alone at the store today, he had to have his lunch out of the microwave. Earl laments that, saying that microwave food will kill you faster than a bullet. He asks for a bottle of Jack Daniels behind Pete, and when Pete goes to retrieve it, Earl says that he thinks he's going to get tanked tonight.
Okay. This made me laugh very much because he's talking about the microwave lunch, and he's like, those are for hippies that are high on weed.
Yeah.
Give me that Jack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get drunk tonight.
Yes, sir.
Well, it looks like he's starting already.
Yeah,
he is. Doesn't he he brings a beer, doesn't he?
Yeah. No. He immediately went to get a beer while he's talking.
Oh, well, he's all right.
Yeah. Pete asks what's wrong, and Earl admits that it's been a hot and miserable day. They have a really disgusting back and forth using that aforementioned deplorable language, but it really just amounts to Earl having gotten sick from his breakfast. They finally abandon the conversation, and Earl asks if Pete has heard about the bank robbery in Abilene. Once again, woo, Abilene!
We've been there.
That's 90 minutes away. But Pete has heard about it. He asks, didn't they kill someone? Earl, clearly upset, says that they did. 4 Rangers, 3 cops, and 1 civilian. He says that they took the bank teller hostage and they're presumed to be heading for the border, which will bring them right to Earl. He promises payback if he's able to get his hands on them, and he says that they will. And Pete assures him that he doesn't doubt it. Earl asks to use the restroom, and Pete tells him yes.
So there was the way he asked to use the restroom. I've never heard it put this way. I've heard people say, and I think it's kind of gross to talk like this. But I've heard people say, yeah, it's
You're clutching your pearls.
It's uncouth. But he says yes to, you've heard people say drain the lizard.
Yeah.
But he said drain my lizard, and that's there's something extra.
It's a little weird.
I didn't like it.
I don't
Why
need to
is it a
know.
lizard?
I don't know.
It's what it is. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah.
Some people have a lizard.
Tail as old as time.
A lizard's tail as old as time.
But I did catch it this time, and I thought it was a little strange. It was
Yeah.
because you got to hit the head, or I'm going to go drain the old lizard.
Yeah.
I'm going to go drain my lizard.
No.
And y'all were laughing at me last week, but the word "my" changes a lot.
That was different.
It was the exact same thing.
And then JP said the old lizard, so now it's that's even different.
Yeah.
But this whole thing,
Well,
I don't know. As Earl disappears to a restroom behind the cooler, Seth Gecko, played by George Clooney, advances toward Pete. In one hand, he points a gun at him, and in the other hand, he grips the hair of redheaded hostage, played by Heidi McNeil. Followed closely behind him is his brother, Richie Gecko, played by Quentin Tarantino, holding onto his own gun, and the hair of blonde hostage, played by Amy Graham.
So I have to be completely honest. Pete did incredible.
Yeah.
He did amazingly.
I couldn't tell.
No.
No.
I would have never guessed. I would have gone to, whatever with the lizard too. Without any worry.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that lizard needs, we're going to go take care of it.
We're going to feed him some bugs or whatever. I don't know. But I was very impressed.
But Seth asks Pete if he thinks he's playing with him and if he really wants himself, the two girls, or Earl to die. He assures Pete that he is not fucking with him. But Pete doesn't understand what he's done wrong. He tells Seth that he did exactly as he said, but Seth disagrees. He let Earl use the bathroom, and no place does that.
What?
But they clearly know each other. Like, they clearly, because he's like, hey, Pete, or whatever. Like, it's not like he's just some cop and he's like, do you want to use my bathroom? Like, he was like, what are you going to tell him? No.
Yeah, and I was old enough in 96 to know if I walked into a convenience store, I can go use a bathroom for free.
Yeah, they usually
like
don't.
It's not like no, you gotta buy something.
Yeah.
Some places do, you know what I mean? It's for customers only. But I mean, this feels like it's there for anybody to come in, and this is not that type of store.
Yeah, but even if it were, if a cop asks, you just let them.
Yeah,
when I worked at 7-Eleven and I worked Graves, I was fearing for my life every single night, and the campus police would always ride by, and I'd let them have free drinks and whatever hot dogs or whatever were on the grill. I'm probably going to come up on charges now. Yeah, take whatever you want. Just keep coming by because that job, it can be surprisingly fucking scary and dangerous.
Why would you come up on charges? You fed the cops.
No, against...
7-Eleven
yeah,
is suing.
maybe the cops will lose the charges. 7-Eleven files.
Whoops.
Whoa, no. They're like, thanks for the hot dog. And I'm like, you got it,
They
man.
were all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the subpar hot dog.
I did get sick after.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I did want to talk. I meant to say about George Clooney being cast in the film.
Yes.
Because it really is before Clooney becomes Clooney.
Yeah.
Like JP said. But the reason for it is because Tarantino was a huge fan of ER. And he said he watched every episode.
Stop it.
He loved it. And in fact, Tarantino would go on to direct an episode of ER.
I did see that. That is wild.
Yeah.
I would never guess that.
No.
Remember when he did the 2-parter on CSI?
I do.
Yeah.
I actually...
Poor Nick, though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Grave Danger, I believe was the title of
Those were good episodes.
the 2-part episode.
So he was writing first and then wanted to act, or he was acting and then he wanted to write?
Tarantino?
Yeah.
He wanted to be an actor. And whenever he came to Hollywood with his mother, his intention was to become an actor.
Yeah.
And he actually played an Elvis impersonator on an old episode of The Golden Girls.
What the fuck?
Oh my God, I have to look that up
no
immediately.
shit.
But he had very limited roles. And then whenever he worked at Video Archives, he became friends with Roger Avery. And then they started writing together.
Okay.
I'm not a biographer, but I do know a lot about
No,
Tarantino.
I thought he started talking. They were like, no. Go over there.
It's like, you just keep saying all right.
Yeah.
It's not even in the script. He's like, I'll write it myself, all right.
Yeah.
He just leaves.
I'll be bigger than all of you, all right.
And he was.
He was. It's a great story.
Yeah.
It's a story as old as time. Just like that lizard. Go ahead, Nate.
But again, to recap, Seth is mad because he let him use the bathroom. And Pete says that Earl comes in every single day and they talk and he's used the toilet 1,000 times. If he had said no, Earl would have known something was up. Seth just tells him that he wants Earl back in his car and down the road, or he can change the name of the store to Benny's World of Blood, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Suddenly, Richie leans over and whispers in his brother's ear. Seth readjusts his gun, still pointing it at Pete's head, and asks if he was giving Earl signals. Pete denies this emphatically, but Richie whispers in Seth's ear again. Seth tells him that Richie says he was scratching. Again, Pete denies this, and Seth accuses him of calling Richie a liar. Pete denies that too, saying that if he did scratch, he doesn't remember scratching, but it wasn't a signal, he was just scared.
Two things. I don't know why it's so funny to me that Richie is having this secret conversation.
I know.
But he's like, no, that's not what happened. Yeah, no, just a second.
I don't like it.
And also with Earl, this conversation goes on forever. How much did he feed that lizard or whatever?
Well, he said he was draining it.
Yeah.
That's everything.
But he has gone a little long.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Maybe he's just doing like a sneak poop too. Maybe he was just
He
like,
lied? Get out!
he's been back there for a while.
He has a sneak.
Yeah, but yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Pete.
You're boiling with rage.
You better do something.
Get your friend.
Well, tell me you got to use the bathroom. Don't just say you got to piss. You know what I
No.
mean? He's like, hey, look, I got to.
Maybe that's what he thinks draining his lizard means.
Well, look, you said friend, and we are no longer friends.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lie to me about something like this. I had the same fucking problem on House of Wax,
Yeah.
where he was clearly
A lizard.
yeah, he was clearly a lizard. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Just say you gotta go.
Yeah. Can I use your bathroom?
Yeah, and courtesy flush.
Yeah. If you're going to take a dump, please. You know what I mean?
Not a dumb.
That was coarse.
Well,
We have more things to talk about.
shit. If you're going to take a shit.
Oddly, that sounds cleaner.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Moving on. Richie puts his gun against the hostage's head and calmly suggests that they just go back there and shoot Earl in the back of the head while he's in the bathroom. Pete pleads with them to not do that. He tells Seth that he told him to act naturally, and under the circumstances, he deserves an Academy Award for how natural he acted, and no lies detected.
Yeah.
He says that they told him to get rid of Earl, and he's doing his best. Seth presses the barrel of his gun in the middle of Pete's forehead. He warns him that his best better get a lot fucking better, or he's going to feel a hell of a lot fucking worse.
I love the like symmetrical Tarantino.
I was going to say it's very Tarantino.
Yeah.
Like, but I love it.
Yeah.
The toilet flushes, finally. And Seth tells everyone to be cool before he and Richard take the women back to the other side of the store. Earl comes out and is ready to go. He asks how much for the bottle, and Pete calmly tells him $6.50. Earl takes out his wallet, but as he's complaining about the price, Richie comes out of nowhere and shoots him in the back of the head, spraying Pete with his blood. He continues to shoot the dying ranger as he falls onto the floor.
He dies?
Yeah. Cut that part out.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Heavens to Betsy.
Not Earl McGraw. But this was very unexpected because everything was under control and he was literally leaving. He was
Yes.
paying to leave.
Yeah.
It was, and I think that this is when it's very clear, but Richie's going to be a problem.
A big problem. Seth yells at his brother, asking what he did that for. Richie says again that Pete signaled him. He accuses him of mouthing "help us." Pete screams that he didn't because he didn't, and he calls Richie a liar. In response, Richie shoots him in the chest. Seth yells at him to stop, but Richie just doubles down, saying that he did it when Seth's back was turned.
You're full of shit.
He literally did not.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do it.
No, the camera was on him the whole time.
Yeah. Pete falls to the floor behind the counter, but he's still alive. He starts frantically putting the code into a safe on the floor. Richie desperately asks Seth if he believes him, but Seth only tells him to shut up and start the car. When he continues to ask, Seth finally says that he does believe him and to just go and start the car again. Richie asks if he's just saying that. As the brothers continue to go back and forth, Pete gets the safe open and takes out a gun. He shoots Richie through the hand, and he and Seth begin to shoot at each other. They both take cover, and Richie insists that he told Seth he told the cop to help them. This doesn't prove what you think is real. You shot him.
Yeah. And I feel like Richie deserved that.
What,
Oh,
the hand?
absolutely.
Yeah.
He deserves way worse.
Well, no,
as we learn more about him.
Yeah.
He didn't mouth anything to the cop, man.
Not at all.
No, you tell a lie, you get shot in the
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah. It's, sunrise, sunset.
Yeah.
But Pete again screams that he never did. Seth says that it doesn't matter now because he's dead anyway. He opens a pack of paper towels and kicks the shelf, causing a bottle of lighter fluid to fall down. As he soaks the roll of toilet paper in lighter fluid, he tells Richie to shoot the bottles behind the bar when he counts to 3. He begins to count as Pete fumbles trying to reload his gun. Both of the hostages run out of the store without incident, and I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
I was very afraid that they were going to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth counts to 3 and Richie shoots the bottles. Seth lights the roll and tosses it behind the counter. Pete screams as he burns, but surprisingly, he rises up and continues to shoot at them, engulfed in flames. They shoot him and he finally falls to the ground and dies. On their way out, they snatch up a Texas road map.
So I just want to say, first of all, poor Pete.
Yeah.
Literally, he's trying to do his job.
Yeah, he showed up to work today. He had his microwave lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
And also, it's very funny to me because they're just loudly planning what they're going to do. And he's like, oh, he's behind the counter getting soaked in liquor. And I'm probably not going to make it.
Yeah.
I think this is going to end really badly for me.
But to me, I feel like, because what's very interesting from the commentary is even as early as this, they had rewritten a lot of the script for the dynamic between Seth and Richie, because Richie was going to act way more like Tarantino in real life and have all these quippy quips and all this stuff, but he gave them all to Seth.
I like that a lot better.
Yes.
A lot better.
Yeah.
They said that it worked better, first of all, because of George Clooney and his, he kind of has like this, he can play an asshole very well.
Yeah.
And he plays them very well here. And Rodriguez said that giving him all these lines, it was only making him more of a star in this role. He said that if I can't make a star out of George Clooney, I should go to movie hell for it. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And George Clooney kills it in this.
He does.
Yeah, I don't think we need to see any of that from Quentin here.
And not with this character.
And I will say I know that I whatever on Tarantino, but his movies aren't bad. You know what I mean? The movies he makes are great. But he's just a little too weird for me. Like
he's a weird little dude.
Yeah,
But
so I don't.
Damn, he can write a movie.
Yeah.
And then direct it.
Yeah, but we don't
And
need
then
to see
cameo in it.
Sometimes.
Yeah, we don't need him to talk too much.
But as they walk through the parking lot, Seth chastises Richie. He tells him that he only told him to go inside, buy the road map, and leave. Richie asks what he was supposed to do. They were recognized. Seth denies this, but Richie insists that there was a look on Pete's face when he looked at them, especially Seth.
I mean,
Stop. They continue to fight, Seth pointing out everything they did that's the opposite of what his instructions of keeping a low profile were, as Benny's world of liquor continues to burn behind them. They get in their car and drive away. Dark Night by the Blasters plays as the car freezes and we get the credits and eventually the title card, bright red against a black background, from Dusk Till Dawn. This song, I can't oversell how perfect it is.
yes.
Both times that it's used, because
Yeah.
it's used again, and it every time I'm like, oh, we're in this bitch. Like it's here we go.
I want to talk about first of all, the soundtrack entirely
Yes,
is great. But the Tarantino-esque fonts throughout the opening credits, I believe the opening credits font is the Pulp Fiction font with just white, none of the color backgrounds.
Right.
And of course, his Dimension Films is the A Band Apart, whatever. I'm too much of a fan. But I wanted to talk as well about the cinematographer of the film, because you get a lot of really neat shots as far as like the frantic shots of the gas station scene we just saw, the long tracking shot of them with the exploding gas station.
Yeah.
The cinematographer was Guillermo Navarro, and they had worked with him previously on Desperado and Four Rooms.
Yeah.
But he almost works exclusively with Guillermo del Toro.
Oh,
Okay.
both
And if-
Guillermos.
Yes.
I love that.
That's how they met. I don't know.
Right, GG, huh?
Yeah.
They met at the Guillermo convention.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
You can only get in?
Yeah.
Is that it?
It's we said no homers.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think his work is really great here. And the editor of the film is Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And they just work very well together with the cutting of these frantic shots.
Yeah.
I just think that that can't be overstated. And Rodriguez does fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the man's like he's a force.
Yeah.
Yeah. Desperado, I love that movie. Like, so much. Everything in that movie is, like, perfect.
But in the car as they travel down the road, Seth pops prescription pills and chases them with a swallow of liquor. Richie looks at his brother through the hole in his hand before wrapping it in duct tape. He takes a mouthful of alcohol before spitting it onto his newly damaged hand. We slide down the outside of the car, and in an interesting shot, we can see through the trunk. Inside, we see the bank teller that they've taken hostage, Gloria Hill, played by Brenda Hillhouse. The song ends and it cuts to black.
So just a couple things here. Firstly is the hole in the hand, the shot that we see.
Yeah.
As soon as they show it, the credits go effects by K&B.
Well,
We did that.
yeah, you need to know.
I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah. But also the shot of the bank teller in the trunk.
Right.
Tarantino wrote in his script, he said, Superman vision, we see the woman in the trunk.
Yeah.
And Rodriguez, this is part of their partnership of him just knowing exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. And lastly, and I'll shut up, Brenda Hillhouse, I believe.
Yeah.
She was in Tarantino's first film that wasn't completed, My Best Friend's Birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she was also Butch's mother in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, shit.
Oh, nice.
And she was Tarantino's acting teacher. That's how she got.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
What a goddamn opening, huh?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that so much. I was like, God damn, this is some shit already. We're getting into this. And they're both fucking terrible guys.
They are.
No, they're all
one
suck,
one
right?
more so than the other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they both suck.
and wouldn't T, I'm sure you're probably because I know you do teach, I know CPR classes and all that, but I mean, I know it's not the same thing, but wouldn't it be better to put the liquor on the cut before the
Thank
band?
you. Yes.
And then maybe patch it up?
Yeah, and I do want to say that in the first aid courses I teach, we never spit alcohol.
That's what I'm saying.
As
Maybe
a
pour
method.
it on there.
Yeah, well, but I think-
That's a don't.
Yeah.
yeah, but it did make me laugh that he did wrap it first.
Yeah.
He's like, it'll get in there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He's
Yeah.
like, do you know how bad that's going to hurt if I spit it right on the wound?
I need the barrier.
I need a buffer.
Yeah. But you need to clean it.
also,
It'll
Yeah.
get clean through the duct tape.
I don't know.
I'll be fine.
The duct tape will keep the germs out. Do not come here for medical advice.
No. And no.
But in the next scene, Richie waits in the car as Seth impatiently bangs on the bell of the front desk of the Dew Drop Motel. Finally, old-timer motel owner, played by Mark Lawrence, comes out, angrily asking what he wants. Seth tells him he wants a room, and the motel owner's like, okay.
Hold on now.
I was
it
like, what the
starts.
fuck do you think I wanted?
I was gonna say, let's back up a little bit.
It was a little harsher
He
than
was
what I
a little
said.
heavy-handed on the bell.
Yeah.
I mean, he did ring it quite a few times.
I said he was banging on it.
I did think it was funny the way he answered the old man.
Yes,
But he did. The old man came out angry.
he did.
And he's like, I want a room, you old bastard. Or what did you tell him?
Yeah.
He does, yeah. You mean old
Yeah.
bastard.
Yeah. It was funny because after what we had just seen and being very familiar with the Tarantino ultra violence, I was like, oh, so he's going to kill the guy when he comes out and he gives him an attitude. But the fact that he was just like, I want a room. Okay, I got rooms.
Yeah.
It was very. I was like, oh, thank God, the old man's fine.
I just wrote in my notes, I said the customer service is strange but prompt.
Yeah.
This is-
Okay.
Yeah.
But Seth gets back in the car and Richie asks if they have cable here. Seth says no. Richie asks if they have the X-rated channels. Seth says no. Richie asks if they have water beds. Seth says no. They have 4 walls and a roof, which is all they need.
A waterbed is a wild request.
Yeah.
That's a reach. They don't even have porn channels, dude. You think they have a waterbed?
And you want to swim to sleep? What the fuck?
Float to sleep.
No, it's much better.
Seth parks their dirty and dusty car in front of their room and tells his brother that they need to do this fast. They pop the trunk and we get that classic Tarantino shot looking up at them from Gloria's view inside the trunk. They tell her to be quiet as they take her inside.
First of all, you love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think that he wrote that before Reservoir Dogs did it.
Oh, I love that
All
idea.
right.
But inside, Gloria tearfully asks what they're going to do with her. Seth reminds her that he told her to plant herself and plants don't talk. He warns that if she wants to get on his good side, she needs to be still and silent. Gloria listens. Seth tends to his brother's hand as Richie stares at Gloria. Seth says that he's going to go get the money and leaves to retrieve a briefcase from the car. I was surprised that they left that out there, but
That's true.
anyway.
Honestly, the way that Richie's been acting, I thought this short little trip outside, he was going to come back to a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you can really tell that Richie is the wild card already
He's
from what
something.
we've seen. Yeah.
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 When he leaves, Richie does point his gun in Gloria's direction, which, only leads us to believe that more. But Seth comes back and says that it's about 6 o'clock. He asks Gloria what time it gets dark, and she says around 8. Seth is happy with this, saying that he's going to go to the border to check things out and try to arrange a rendezvous with someone named Carlos. Richie tells Seth to try to negotiate something better than 30% for them, but Seth says that that's their standard deal and they're not going to change it for them. Richie is appalled that Seth isn't even going to try to negotiate, but dropping some casual slurs, Seth tells him that these guys don't even know the meaning of the word barter. If they want to stay in El Rey, they have to give them 30%. He calls it scripture. So it is written and so it shall be done. They have to pay a price for sanctuary, and that price is 30%.
I just wanted to point out very quickly, El Rey is something that comes up in Rodriguez pictures a lot. I think it means the king.
Right.
But it was the name of his network. It was the name of Freddy Rodriguez in Planet Terror. His little...
All right.
That's fucking cool.
Okay.
Like, it's all the time.
Yeah. And the names, we calm down.
Chill out.
Calm
Chill
down.
out.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I guess it's fucking mid-90s. It's kind of hard in that respect to go back and watch a lot of these older movies because it's like, God damn, like.
But we also have to understand they're horrible.
And they're
people.
bad.
Yeah, no, they are.
They're bad.
They are. But I got a little frustrated with Richie because he's asking and Seth is telling him, look, dude, this is what it is. I feel like that's fair. 30% and I'm safe. I get to come into your city. You're protecting me. That's fine.
That's
dude.
the thing.
Yes.
I don't know if you're realizing what trouble we're in.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And when
We're in a lot of trouble.
Dude, when we learn,
Yeah.
they've got like 5 stars GTA.
Yeah, no shit.
It's awful.
There's a helicopter outside. It's the whole fucking thing. But Richie tries to throw in his 2 cents, and Seth firmly tells him that this conversation is over. He goes over to Gloria and says that they need to talk. He learns her name and introduces himself and his brother. He asks yes or no if she wants to live through this. He tells her that rule number 1 is no noise. If she makes a noise, Mr. 44 makes a noise. If she asks a question, Mr. 44 answers it. He asks if she's clear about rule number 1, and she says yes. Rule number 2 is she has to do what they say when they say it. And if she doesn't, see rule number 1. He presses his gun to her head as he tells her rule number 3. Don't run on them because he has 6 little friends and they can all run faster than her. He lowers the gun and tells her that if she can just follow the rules, she has his word that she will get out of this.
That Tarantino dialogue.
Yes.
It's chef's kiss, man.
Seth leaves, and as soon as the engine starts outside, Richie makes his way to the room, inviting Gloria to come sit on the bed and watch TV with him. She sits on the couch as he flips through the channels, but when he beckons her over again, she listens.
Him offering this invitation, I have never been more worried for anyone
Literally.
in my entire life.
But the next scene opens on Emma and Pete's gravy train, a diner. Jacob Fuller, played by Harvey Keitel, sits at a table with his kids, Kate Fuller and Scott Fuller, played by Juliette Lewis and Ernest Liu.
I did read on moviemistakes.com that the executive producer, Lawrence Bender, has a small cameo in this, and he's sitting in a booth at the gravy train.
That's he was in Pulp Fiction as well at a diner.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
nice.
Because I remember Tim Roth being like, fucking get down! And he like goes to the floor or whatever. For good reason.
Yeah.
That's funny. And speaking of the diner in Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
the coffee shop manager that's like, I'm a coffee shop.
Yeah.
He's an extra in this.
No shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw him on that doc, and he was like, because I was the coffee shop manager in Pulp Fiction.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, you were.
Bringing everyone together.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is, and it always made me laugh because he says manager way later because he goes,
Yeah.
I'm a coffee shop manager.
Yeah.
I think on the credits he's credited as coffee
Yes.
shop. Which is fucking
That's
hilarious.
rude.
That's his name.
You ain't ever gonna leave it.
Either. I wanted to talk about Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
We all love Juliette Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
She was cast in this in a very interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that she was friends with Tarantino at the time already. And so you would think that he's just like, oh, I'm friends with Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
But the script came to her naturally through the normal old-fashioned ways.
Oh, wow.
Not like a raven.
Yeah. A raven.
It wasn't a raven.
Juliette Lewis, stop.
No. It's like, Quentin, how do you do? No.
Oh, my.
She called him and was like, your script came to me.
Yeah.
And so they talked about it a lot, and then eventually she took the part. But they rewrote a lot of it because they wanted to include more scenes of them together.
Yeah.
Because they're friends. And so, I mean, and we see the ways.
Yeah.
But there was way less of them in the original script interacting. But because they're friends, they're like, let's have some scenes together.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it from Natural Born Killers they know each other, or was it?
I think now that probably makes sense. Tarantino had a big falling out over Natural Born Killers because
Okay.
they changed all his shit. He's still not happy. But and that's another great. I enjoy Natural Born Killers.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it in a very long time.
It's
so.
probably awful.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other night, and I was like, it probably aged terribly, but I really liked it.
I know as a teenager, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe 32 hits different. But Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
Yes, we love Harvey Keitel.
He needs no introduction.
It's fucking Jack Crawford from Red Dragon.
It's the wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking the pimp from Taxi Driver.
Yeah, the devil and Little Nicky.
Oh my god! Oh, Tarantino's in that too, isn't he?
He is. He
He
plays
is.
the preacher.
Yeah, that's what the
That's right.
Yeah, I don't quite get that at all.
But here we are.
Yes.
But as he sips his coffee, Jacob tells his kids that they're about to be 2 hours away from El Paso. They'll be right next to the border and they'll stop at a motel. So immediately when they say that they're by the border, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Like we see where this is going and you're stopping at a motel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Scott is confused by this, asking if they really have to stop at a motel. And Kate agrees, reminding her father that they have a motor home. The siblings say together, we're self-contained, obviously making fun of Jacob. Jacob admits that maybe he was overzealous about the motorhome, but he had just gotten it. He does want to stay in a motel, though, because he's exhausted. Scott assures his father that he can just lie down in the back and Scott will drive them into Mexico, but Jacob tells him, don't even think about it. He said he wants to have one night's sleep in an actual bed. Scott excuses himself to go to the restroom, and once he slides out of the booth, Kate tells Jacob that she called their answering machine to check the messages, and there was one from Bethel Baptist. The message was for Jacob, telling him that he wouldn't be permanently replaced until they came back. She tries to continue, but Jacob interrupts her and says that that's nice, but he'll call tomorrow and tell them not to bother waiting. Kate takes a moment before saying that she didn't want to say this in front of Scott because he gets upset, but she does want to know if Jacob still believes in God. Jacob admits not enough to be a pastor. So I'll hold my comments.
All right. I have one comment that I can't hold. When do you think M. Night
God damn it!
watched
That's what I was holding.
From Dusk Till Dawn?
Immediately.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
You son of a bitch.
It's like, I can make a movie out of that.
Yeah.
Just that piece.
Yeah, just
Is that water on the table?
But he tells her that he knows it's been hard on her and Scott, and after their mother's death, this is probably the last thing they need. But he says that his congregation needs spiritual leadership and his faith is gone. He tells her that he does believe in Jesus and he does believe in God, but does he love them? No. Kate is confused. She explains that he's been a pastor for their entire lives, and they're supposed to accept that one day he woke up and just said, fuck him. Jacob looks at his daughter and clarifies that he never said fuck him. He reasons that every person that chooses their life's work to be living in service of God has one thing in common, whether they're a preacher, priest, nun, rabbi, or monk. He says that often in life, they all look at their reflection in the mirror and ask themselves if they're a fool. He says that what he's experiencing is not a lapse, it's closer to an awakening. Kate asks what he thinks her mother would say, but Jacob flatly tells her that her mother doesn't have anything to say. She's dead.
That was very blunt and shocking.
Yeah.
I also want to say, like, you don't see Tarantino writing families very often.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it was like interesting to see him take on this dynamic, and he avoided one of the major pitfalls because whenever Kate is like, you woke up and now it's just fuck him.
Yeah.
You'd expect him to be like, now you watch your language,
Yeah.
lady. But
You go watch your mouth.
there's a bathroom here. But he doesn't do it.
Right.
And I respected that because he went more philosophical immediately instead of that, stereotypical shit.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of leads me to believe that Katie's a little older than Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's a little more lenient with her saying that.
I think that's true.
And I wonder, in my mind, I always thought she was a teenager, and she might be, but later on and they're talking about drinking, and she says, I'm not 21 yet. So I'm like, are you 20? Are you I always wondered how old Kate is, because he really does kind of talk to her with the respect of like, look, I can candidly speak to you human to human, not, oh, well, honey, it's very like, I don't know. They just have a level of kind of respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Juliette Lewis was 22.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine, I always thought the character was like 19.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe 18, 19. She's older.
Yeah.
Or at least a little older than Scott.
But I don't know.
Like
I
15?
definitely think Scott's the baby for sure.
He's a baby?
Scott is an infant.
He's doing very well.
We went to the restroom.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I got this, Dad.
We're all very impressed.
Yes.
But we cut to a news report where newscaster Kelly Hogue, played by Kelly Preston, stands on the steps of a courthouse, very happily reporting that the bloody crime spree started a week ago today.
Yeah.
So Kelly Preston, John Travolta's?
Yeah,
Yes.
I read
Wife?
that Tarantino, they met each other, John Travolta doing Pulp Fiction.
Oh, nice.
Very
I was
cool.
like, that makes complete sense.
This, to me, what follows, it feels very much, I think it must have been Tarantino's mindset at the time when he was writing all these scripts.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very much like the media satire of Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Where she's almost giddy.
Yeah,
She's so happy.
It's like a game show.
Looks so happy. I also, and I was holding this. We have a lot of commentary, a lot of opinions about Rob Zombie's work. Sometimes we love it. Sometimes it's not as much. But on our House of a Thousand Corpses episode, we talked about, I know that it struck me hard that I never noticed how much Texas Chainsaw is in that film.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Devil's Rejects has a lot of From Dusk Till Dawn in it. And I never noticed literally until writing the script for this today, to come here today. There's a lot of overlap.
Right.
There's an actor that's in both.
Right.
Juliette Lewis is in this. Her father's in Devil's Rejects.
Yes.
A scene that is coming up very soon, is very close. I'm sure that Rob Zombie has never seen From Dusk Till Dawn.
I want to say...
But I see it.
Right.
And once it's in your head, you'll start noticing it too.
I did not notice these similarities until you brought them to my attention.
Yeah.
I want to say Rob Zombie seems like a great guy.
He does.
And influence is part of art.
Absolutely.
And we're all standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think Rob Zombie, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Sorry for past comments. No, but I think that there's definitely nods.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
No.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like it's very cool to take inspiration, and because, take Tarantino, he talks a lot about, he calls it stealing.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I got this from this Italian film and this French film, and I saw this and that, and this director did this, and I liked it. And and I'm not saying that people were like, did you watch From Dusk Till Dawn? And he's like, no. I just personally never put it together until I was working on this. And then we did the Devil's Rejects not too long ago.
Yeah.
So maybe it's still fresh-ish. And I think also I'm like, oh my God, these guys are fucking awful. And we're following them. But I'm like, the shit that we saw fucking Otis do, you know what I mean? This pales in, kind of,
But it doesn't.
Yeah, it does, but it doesn't.
I will say that, Jules and I talk a lot about creativity almost being like a mental, like a collage almost.
Yeah.
Right.
Coming together of all these different inspirations. I have no issue because a lot of people simply don't like Tarantino because they say he's a thief.
Right.
He does take, but he acknowledges.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I appreciate. And honestly, there's a lot of other films that are in From Dusk Till Dawn even.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, that I feel like there's a difference, and I can say whatever I want and joke about Tarantino being weird or whatever, but in all honesty, what he takes or borrows, it's not like a straight rip off to where it's like, oh, that scene felt out of place. Oh, well, that was a nod to the thing. Yeah, I could tell. It didn't feel like it fit. Everything he puts in there flows perfect in the movies. So it doesn't ever feel like, oh, it's a nod.
Yeah.
But it's never like, oh, you just ripped off that entire scene and it doesn't fit in this. Everything kind of goes with it. One thing after the other doesn't feel forced or funny. It's not like, that was weird.
Yeah, it's woven
all,
in.
Yeah, it's all molded together good.
And that is, I truly believe, the goal of art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Me and Jules' constant conversations about it being all these influence funneled through your own creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all Tarantino does.
Yeah. But we briefly see Seth Gecko's mugshot as Kelly continues that he was serving time at the Kansas State Pen for a bank robbery in 1988 where 2 officers were killed. While Seth was at the courthouse where she's standing, his younger brother, armed robber and sex offender Richard Gecko, we see his mugshot as well, pulled off an escape in broad daylight. This resulted in the death of 4 police officers as well as a woman named Heidi Vogel, who the brothers ran over during their escape. I was like, Jesus Christ!
That was kind of unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they show a picture of Heidi Vogel and say that she was a 6th grade teacher. It's funny because I guess that's her real name. And she worked post-production. She was a supervisor and a manager. She did Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, the Kill Bill movies.
That's wild.
That's cool, though.
The way they showed her picture, you knew she had to be
She's
somebody.
someone. And then I looked her up to get her credit on IMDb. She's nowhere to be seen. It's like, okay, you're a friend. You're somebody behind that. You're somebody.
Yeah.
But the footage cuts to Benny's world of liquor being sprayed by firemen. Kelly's voice narrates that early today during the robbery of the liquor store in Big Spring.
I
know. The Geckos killed Texas Ranger Earl McGraw and the clerk Pete Bottoms. With 5 slain Texas Rangers, 8 police officers, and 3 civilians now, the Gecko brothers' death toll is 16. She mentions as well their hostage, the bank teller and mother of 4, Gloria Hill. She points her microphone toward FBI agent Stanley Chase, played by John Saxon.
Hey, it's Nancy's dad.
It is Nancy's dad.
Dude, John Saxon is the shit.
I gasped.
Yeah.
I did not remember. And this is the only time we see him.
Yeah, me either.
They said, okay, so Tarantino and Rodriguez talked about it on commentary.
Mm-hmm.
They announced From Dusk Till Dawn at a Fangoria convention.
Okay.
And so they're just talking about the film that they're going to make.
Yeah.
And we've been to plenty of conventions. We know that it's filled with tons of stars,
Oh,
Yeah.
tons of people, genre favorites.
Mm-hmm.
John Saxon was there. And so he walks up to them and he introduces himself and he says he'd like to be a part of this
He said,
picture.
give me a slice.
And that was it.
Hell yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so fucking cool.
That's cool.
That's really, really cool.
Tarantino's a big fan of Mario Bava. I know that.
Yeah.
And John Saxon was in The Girl Who Knew Too Much, which was technically, people say it's the first Giallo film. I disagree.
All right.
It's too Hitchcockian. I think Blood and Black Lace is the first Giallo film. Anyway.
Well, he was in Black Christmas, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, which is, I believe, another one of Tarantino's favorites. But again, just simply by virtue of being there.
Yeah.
He's in Enter the Dragon too.
He is.
That's fucking
That's
crazy. And this is it. This is the only time we
That's
see him.
it.
Yeah.
I thought now what the movie turns into.
Yeah.
I thought there would be a big showdown.
Absolutely.
right.
You feel like, I'm sorry, but this is your Officer Wydell.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you think, that
Yeah.
he's coming to get them. But
He is never seen again.
anything. This is the only time we see him. But he assures the audience that they're confident the brothers will be taken into custody in the next 48 hours and that a dragnet has been formed to snare them. Kelly asks if, because of the loss of life of law enforcement officials, is it safe to assume that the FBI, Rangers, and police are taking this manhunt personally? With a nod and a stare at the camera, Agent Chase tells her that that is a very safe assumption.
So I wonder if any of this, like their death toll or whatever is going on, has to do, because I read in the 1996 William Baldwin movie Curdled that the Gecko brothers make an appearance in as fugitives in a crime TV show on there.
It's fun. They talked about it on commentary because they said that Tarantino loved this character that Kelly Preston played so much.
Yeah.
That they like shoehorned that into that film.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
So is this happening at the same time?
I guess.
Multiverse.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Wild.
That's cool. But Seth returns to the motel room with beer and Big Kahuna Burger.
You love to see it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also, earlier when they got to the motel and Seth went inside, if you looked in the reflection right in front of Richie, there's some Red Apple cigarettes that I
Man.
believe are in every Tarantino movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I was going to say for the uninitiated.
Yes.
Red Apple cigarettes and Big Kahuna Burger are Tarantino verse staples. Yeah.
So this connects to Pulp Fiction then.
So the wild thing about this, and I'm not gonna like go too long, but Tarantino himself had said that there are two universes in his films.
Right.
It's either the films are actually taking place for real,
Yeah.
or the films are the films that the characters in the other films go
Are
to see.
watching. Yeah.
So
Okay.
if it's like
okay.
super stylized, like high action violence, a character from Jackie Brown could go see Kill Bill.
That's what I was going to say. So Kill Bill is obviously the movie
Yes.
verse.
Which oddly could be Fox Force 5 turned into a film.
Absolutely.
Kill
Okay.
Bill.
Yeah.
The little tweaking.
Yeah.
Mia Wallace did become an actress. But it's very interesting. And From Dusk Till Dawn, he said, is one of the films that they would go to see.
Okay.
So, and Red Apple cigarettes and Big Kahuna Burger are legitimate things.
So it's product
Yeah.
placement.
yeah.
But Richie sits alone in the living room, pointing his gun when Seth comes through the door, but admitting that he was starting to get scared. He asks what Seth saw, and Seth admits that he saw cops. He asks Richie what the news said, and with a thin smile, Richie reports to his brother that they're going to be apprehended in about 48 hours. Seth says that they need to find their way across the border because their lives are worth nothing here. He quickly inspects his brother's wound underneath the duct tape before slapping a burger into his other hand. It's funny because even as the film goes on, he's very concerned about Richie's hand. And Richie is just going on with this.
Yeah.
Even when stuff's going on, he's like, how's your hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Well, it's going to get infected.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah. You spit in it.
He's right to be concerned. But Richie immediately starts to eat. Seth glances out the window as he outlines the plan. They get into Mexico tonight, and Carlos will meet them at the rendezvous in the morning. Then Carlos and his people will escort them to El Rey. Seth takes his own burger out of the bag, as well as one for Gloria, and this is when he realizes that Gloria is not sitting on the couch where he told her to. He asks Richie where she is, and for a moment, Richie feigns ignorance. Then he points to the closed door to the bedroom and casually says that she's in there.
What we are about to see, and with the way he says it, it's wild.
Yeah.
That he's like eating a burger casually.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in there.
Oh, she's in there.
Seth asks what the fuck she'd be doing in there and immediately opens the door despite his brother asking him to wait. And him saying, wait, you know you did something wrong.
Mm-hmm. It's like when Mac and Dennis moved to the suburbs
Yes.
and all the mac and cheese.
Yeah.
That's where I'm hiding my mac and cheese.
Mac's famous Mac.
Yes. As soon as the door is open, Seth freezes, staring into the room. Calmly and in disbelief, he asks his brother what is the matter with him. Richie protests that there's nothing wrong with him. We see flashes of the room that Seth is looking at. The bed, the pillows, the walls, and the phone, all covered in Gloria's blood. Richie says that Gloria tried to escape, so he did what he had to. There's nothing wrong with him. Seth calls bullshit, saying that Gloria wouldn't have said shit even if she had a mouthful of it. But Richie keeps telling him he's wrong. As soon as Seth left, Gloria became a completely different person.
I just want to call out the editing of the quick flashes.
Yes.
That was very well done.
Because it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And you see it's really Seth taking it all in.
Yeah. With Gloria's body on the bed and a pillow over her face, Seth turns to his brother, defeated. He asks him sincerely if this is his fault. Still eating his burger, Richie casually says, no, it's not Seth's fault. It's her fault. Getting more and more upset, Seth asks again if this is his fault, if this is what Richie thinks that he is, because this isn't him. He's a professional thief. He doesn't kill anyone he doesn't have to, and he doesn't assault women. He grabs his brother by the face and pushes him against the wall, telling him emphatically that the way he's doing things is not how it's done. He yells in his brother's face to repeat that yes, he understands, and Richie does. Seth releases his grip on his brother's face and hugs him. In the shot, we see the brothers embracing against the wall and Gloria's body on the bed just behind them. Seth tells Richie that once they get to Mexico, everything's going to be fine and good and none of this is going to matter. Finally, Richie relaxes and slumps into a hug.
This made me so mad. Like, I was so, like, and again, I was like, fucking punch him in the face 1,000 times, dude. It's like, God damn. Look, and being an ex-con, whatever, I have a past, whatever. But again, even being in prison, you don't do shit like that. You don't mess with kids is number one, and you don't do shit like that. It's very angry if that's your crew or even if that's your sibling, and it's like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why the fuck do you make me want to rip your fucking head off right now? Why?
That's what it made me think of, was like, because I feel like most people can relate to having a relationship, whether it's a partner or a sibling or a friend or a family member or whatever, where it's like, why can't you just stop? Like, what is it, me? Am I doing something? You know what I mean? It's hard to watch, and I know that Seth is a piece of shit too, but you really sympathize with him because he's like, is this what you think I am? Yeah. And it's like, as the film goes on, he's like, if we can just get this money, if we can just get to El Rey, if we can just get to Mexico, like, you're going to be better. It's going to be okay. It's like very fucking sad. And even the hug here, he's like so desperate for his brother to just stop being a monster. Like, it's really fucking sad. Surprisingly sad.
His solution of going to Mexico is about as, fixing the problem as the duct tape on Richie's hand.
Literally. Yeah.
And it's just not going to work. And it's very sad as well watching it, like you said, because what the fuck was Seth supposed to do if he stays with Gloria? What's Richie going to do out there?
Especially when Richie's like, no, we need to negotiate and blah, blah. You can't trust him to do anything.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing he could have done. The only thing that he could have done is take him with him, but then Gloria's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So he had no choice.
Yeah. I mean, he's still trying to take care of him, and it's just I feel like you get to a point when you care about somebody, you make excuses for them, and it's external things. Is it me? Is it where we are? Is it the money? Is it whatever? But no, it's you. It's them.
There's no excuse for Richie.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch, and I mean, it's sad.
Yeah.
But Kate and Scott watch from the motorhome as their father comes out of the office of the Dew Drop Motel.
Fuck.
Yeah. Kate remarks that this place is cruddy, and when her dad gets back in the vehicle, she asks him why they're stopping here. Jacob assures her that there's nothing wrong with this place. It's just basic and simple. Kate concedes with the caveat that if there's not a pool, they need to go somewhere else. Jacob asserts that it has a bed. That's all he cares about. But Kate makes the argument that other places have beds too. And as she starts to list out the accommodations of other hotels, Jacob slams on his brakes just before he accidentally runs into Seth Gecko, who randomly walked right into the parking spot. He sips his beer and looks through the window at them. Scott asks what his problem is, and Jacob admits that he has no idea. With a sly grin, Seth starts to walk away, leaving Kate to mutter that he's a creepy guy. Seth's like, that ain't the only thing I do with this mouth.
Look, Rob Zombie. All right.
Oh my God. Say that again.
All I'm trying to say is after seeing Seth give that look, we're finding another seedy motel.
Absolutely.
No,
it was like, your kids are with you.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was for me. Maybe if I was alone or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? But I have my family with me.
It's sinister.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to describe it.
It's like, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And you're not going to want to see me. It's like, what? But later, as Jacob sleeps in the bed and Scott practices his guitar with headphones on, he's woken up by someone knocking on the door.
Just a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
The guitar that we hear is not the actor playing it. It was piped in from Jimmy Vaughn, who is Stevie Ray Vaughan's older brother.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right.
And there's a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan.
There is.
Yeah.
But because I was like, Scotty's killing it, dude. Maybe that's why they're on tour is what's going on.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that too. I was like, yeah, he's pretty good.
Okay, kid.
And also off mic, we talked about his Precinct 13 t-shirt. I did read Kurtzman, his original idea was to make, whenever he came up with the story, was to model from Dusk Till Dawn after John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh, very nice.
It was only after Rodriguez and Tarantino and, the clout of their reputations came on that it balloons from this like $1.5 million idea to like, what was it, $17, $18 million?
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's not exactly Precinct 13.
Yeah.
But it was a nice little nod to the initial idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, but we still got a little homage in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jacob gets up and calls out to the person who responds that they're his neighbor in room 11, and he doesn't mean to disturb, but he needs a favor. Jacob sarcastically tells his oblivious son that he hopes none of this is disturbing him as he heads for the door. When he opens it, though, Richie stands there with a big smile, proclaiming that he's from room 11. He says that he and his lady friend need ice, but they don't have an ice bucket. If Jacob would let them borrow theirs, he'll bring it right back.
It sounds so like terrifyingly rehearsed.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's the thing is I feel like a lot of people talk shit about Tarantino in this role. And I think that the awkwardness and the like, I'm trying to act like a normal person. I think that's Richie. I don't think that that's Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that he plays this part really excellent because Richie's fucking weird. He's just weird.
Yeah.
But Jacob obliges, turning to get the ice bucket on the bedside table. But as soon as he turns his back, Richie pulls his gun on him. When he turns back around with the ice bucket, Seth steps into view. As soon as Jacob questions, "What is this?" Seth punches him in the face, sending him sprawling across the bed. And Seth educates him. It's called a punch.
Come on.
All right. Yeah.
Rude.
Why didn't he close the door? Let me go get it for you.
Well, it was literally right behind him. It was right on the nightstand.
I know,
He's
but
like, there's no way his brother's going to punch me in the face.
It's definitely not affiliated with the scary guy we saw.
They are dressed the same.
Oh, yeah.
They are. But Seth goes to Scott, telling him to lose the guitar, and Scott listens, staring up at Seth in fear and setting the guitar down. Seth points his gun at Jacob, learning his name and telling him to get on the bed and be quiet or else he'll shoot him in the face.
Scotty played 3 more notes before.
That was just muscle memory.
Because he had a gun in his face. It's like, bam, bam, bam. It's like, dude, go.
He had to finish.
Yeah. So you
Put it down.
One more measure.
On the other side of the small room, Richie is putting the barrel of his gun in Scott's mouth and leading him to the bed next to his father. Leaning back into dialogue that aged like fucking already sour milk, Seth learns that Jacob and Scott are father and son and that Scott is Chinese after incorrectly assuming him to be Japanese. Jacob asks if this is about money, and Seth admits that it is, but not their money. He and his brother are in trouble and they just need help. Kate opens the door at this moment, hair still wet from the pool, and is greeted with both of the geckos pointing guns in her face. Jacob and Scott stand up, but Seth whirls around and tells them to stop. Kate asks what's going on, and Richie shuts the door behind her, saying that they're having a bikini contest, and she just won.
That surprised me because that seems like something Seth would say.
Yeah.
Like, that was quick, Richie.
Seth's like, good job.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Jacob assures his daughter that everything's going to be fine, and Seth advises her to listen to her father and not do anything stupid. He asks Jacob for the keys to the motorhome, which Jacob gives without a fight. Seth takes the keys and gives them to Richie, instructing him to drive the motorhome up to the front. But Richie is staring at Kate and lost in a delusion. He imagines Kate turning to him and asking him to perform a certain mouth act on her.
You could have said that a million.
I'm trying to decor him as long as I can.
I appreciate it.
That was for you.
It's kind of lingus.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I knew to get it out of him. Yeah.
Well, that's... I mean, it's just...
That's my birthday gift. Come and roll around in the muck with me.
Happy birthday.
Congratulations for being an adult.
Let's move on.
So he responds by stammering out, sure. But Seth gets his attention, telling him to go now. He tosses the keys at his brother, and Richie tries to catch them with his injured hand, only dropping them and lingering, still staring at Kate as he bends down to pick them up. Finally, he leaves the room, and Seth tells Kate to go to the bathroom and put some clothes on. I very much appreciated that.
Yeah.
He stops her before she can get there, though, telling her that she's got 3 minutes, and if she takes any longer, he's shooting Jacob in the face. When he asks if she's got it and if she believes him, Kate tearfully answers yes and runs into the bathroom. As Richie approaches the motorhome outside, Jacob tells Seth that if all they want is the vehicle, they can just take it and go. But Seth warns him that it's not going to be that easy and that they're all going to take a ride. Jacob tells him no, and Seth is taken aback by this. But Jacob puts his foot down, saying that if anyone has to go, they can take him, but his kids aren't going with them. He stands up and walks over to the door, but he stops in his tracks when Seth stands as well and puts the gun to Scott's head. He demands that Jacob sit back down, and looking at his son, Jacob does. Seth tells him that either all of them are getting in that motorhome or he can just kill the 3 of them right now. He wants Jacob's response in the form of a yes or a no. When Jacob, without another choice, says yes, Seth tells Scott that his old man's all right because he just saved his life.
It's just so funny to me that Seth is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like they tried to, give him a bit of an arc, but every chance he gets, he's like, no, I'm going to choose.
Yeah.
Well, he does, but I think that we're really supposed to key in on these moments of, I don't hurt women. Kate, go put your clothes on. There are these moments of humanity where it's like, in his mind, he's doing what he has to do. He's still a fucking, he's still a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong.
So, I mean, it's Richie having 3 strikes and Seth having 2.
1.5.
Yeah. He's trying not to hurt anybody. But
yeah. And when he says, if you just do what I say, because he said it a couple times already and he says it again later, you believe him. I promise you, we're all going to get through this if you just listen. You believe him when he says it.
As long as I can keep him in check.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You don't, he does have a loose cannon with him, but you believe his intention when he's like, please, we need help. Just listen and we'll get through this.
And that's fine, but I seen the way you looked at your brother, and that worries me.
Yeah.
Because we all seen how he looked at my daughter, and I don't like that, but you giving him that worrying
and Seth was
look.
like, Richie.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, you know him best.
Yeah, so that's fine. Let's go. We'll get across the border and all that. But you watch your brother.
Yeah.
Can we leave him in the hotel?
Yeah. Can we leave him here?
Yeah,
we can go. Just
I'll
us.
go.
Yeah.
Kids stay. No.
No.
The kids are coming.
No, they're coming too.
Yeah.
But Seth goes over to the bathroom and knocks on the door, alerting Kate that she's out of time. She immediately comes out dressed, and Seth turns toward the room and gives the iconic Tarantino line, also used in Reservoir Dogs. Okay, ramblers, let's get ramblin'.
You love to hear it.
We cut to them in the motorhome as Din Gay Woman by Stevie Ray Vaughan plays. Richie sits in the back with Kate and Scott, his gun aimed at them. Quietly and cautiously, Kate asks where they're taking her family. He replies, Mexico. Kate asks what's in Mexico, and Richie replies, Mexicans. Up front, next to Jacob, Seth calls out to his brother and tells him to put in his bit, presumably in an attempt to shut him up. Richie dutifully takes out a mouth guard case, pops the guard out, and puts it in his mouth, explaining that he grinds his teeth.
So whenever Richie says that, Scotty looks away like, this is getting us nowhere. Like, this is just fucking...
You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
On commentary, Tarantino said that he was legitimately just fitted for a mouth guard.
Yeah.
And so they added it into the script.
That's hilarious.
He's like, it's time, dude. I gotta wear this.
Well, I watched on that documentary, they were putting in like 17, 18-hour days. So it was probably like, dude, I need that.
Yeah.
I have to
on the cool. Yeah.
It's 9 p.m.
Right But in the front, Seth looks through Jacob's wallet and asks Kate and Scott's names. He shows him a photo of himself and his wife and asks who it is. When Jacob says that it's his wife, Seth asks where she is. And Jacob explains that she's in heaven. And when Seth callously asks how she died, Jacob says it was a car accident. But Seth wants details. He asks if she was hit by a drunk driver, and Jacob says no. She was on her nightly walk, and Ray Reddy...
I was waiting for it. He had never fallen asleep before.
Never once. They don't like water. But What really happened was that it was raining and the brakes on the car weren't great. She had to stop quickly. She slid. She crashed. She died. Seth asks if she died right away, and Jacob says no. I'm like, Seth, oh my God, stop.
I think, again, this is where I'm talking about just callousness.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
He's a terrible person.
But Jacob says that she was trapped for 6 hours before she passed, which is, oh my God, a fucking nightmare. But Seth says that those acts of God really stick it in and break it off, and Jacob agrees. Yes, they do. Seth continues flipping through the wallet and stops on Jacob's minister license. He says that a friend of his got ordained to screw the IRS, and he asks if that's what Jacob's doing or if it's real.
I'm sorry, but looking at Jacob's like, no, it's a novelty. No, of course, dude.
I got it at a gift shop.
I use it to get chicks, man.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Why else would you have that?
Of course it's real.
Right? Jacob admits that he was a minister. Seth is like, was? I'm like, dude, please leave this man alone. He asks why he quit, but Jacob bristles at this, saying that he's gotten as personal as he wants to get with Seth. Seth reminds him to keep this friendly and not get too sensitive. He drops it, though, saying that he doesn't really care about Jacob or his family. They could all live forever or die right now, and it wouldn't make any difference to him. All he cares about is him, his brother, and their money. If Jacob can help them across the border without incident and stay the night with them without trying to escape, he will let all three of them go.
He said something about them being a pair of bad motor scooters or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, is this the edited for television version? I remember on Die Hard when it was like, yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon or whatever. It's like, what's going on?
Mr. Falcon! He's a man of the cloth. So
yeah, that's true. He's like,
he's going to Flanders it out. Yeah.
So this is for your benefit.
Yeah.
We're motor scooters today.
Right now.
Yeah.
Jacob asks how he knows that Seth will keep his word, and he needs to be convinced that he's telling the truth. Seth tells him that all he needs to know is that he's in a situation with two bad guys. We'll say that. And he doesn't want to have to worry about him trying something all night, just like he's sure that Jacob doesn't want to have to worry about Richie's intentions with his daughter all night. He asks if he noticed how Richie was looking at her and if he liked that. Jacob admits that he did notice, and no, he didn't like it. They're on the same page, and Seth promises that if he can get them there and not try to escape, his daughter will be safe. In the morning, they'll let everyone go. He gives Jacob his word and shakes his hand, and Jacob vows that if Richie touches Kate, he'll kill him. Seth understands, saying that that's fair, but if Jacob breaks his word, then he's going to kill them all.
I want to point out there's a very funny moment with Harvey Keitel's performance here.
Yeah.
Because he, of course...
Either.
No.
Yeah.
he gives his threat to
Right.
Seth. And then when Seth gives his threat to him, Harvey Keitel, his face goes, oh. I didn't count on that. I thought this was my time.
Well, but at least he tells him,
My time.
I'm going to kill your brother. And he's like, all right, fair enough.
Like,
Fine.
I get it.
That- yeah, no, hey,
He would have it
cool.
coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
We're
get it.
even.
So, all right.
But I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And I oop. But in the back, Richie is staring entranced at Kate's feet as Dengue Woman continues to play. His gaze travels up to the cross around her neck and then finally her face. He quietly asks her if she meant what she said back at the room. You know, that thing that she never actually said. Kate is completely confused, so Richie takes the guard out of his mouth and asks again. Kate asks what she was supposed to have said, and when Richie leans over to remind her, and he starts to, Seth calls his name from the front like a cautioning father. He tells Richie that he's supposed to watch the kids, not talk to them. They have nothing to say to each other, so be quiet. He's like, we'll just talk later to Kate, and she nods, because what the fuck else is she supposed to do?
But she looks off like, I have no...
Yeah.
Well, because she didn't say anything
word.
to
Yeah.
him.
What's wrong with this dude?
A lot.
I'm watching this as an adult. I'm sure as a kid I was laughing and whatever, but watching this now, it's like, oh my God.
He's
What-
terrifying.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? You're a goddamn creep.
Well,
Like-
yes.
Yeah.
But we don't need to be on the run from the law. We need to be getting him some help.
A lot of help.
A lot of
Maybe
help.
Yeah.
El Rey has premier a psychology department.
I hope.
I hope so. But they finally arrive at the border where multiple cars and people are being searched. In plain view, still sitting in the front, Seth announces to everyone that it's showtime. I feel like he probably should have made himself scarce before they're literally at the border, in sight of the border guards.
Like, is that a man in the window?
Yeah. No, shit. You can see him.
Yeah.
This is Seth's show. It's not mine.
That's Seth Kennedy.
It's his call. But he tells Richie to take Kate into the bathroom and for Scott to come sit up front next to his dad. He asks Jacob what he's going to say, but Jacob admits that he really doesn't have a clue. Seth advises him to just keep thinking about the gun that they're going to have next to Kate's head. He goes into the bathroom with Kate and Richie, who does have his gun pressed against her cheek. Richie laments that this isn't going to work, but Seth tells his brother that it will and to shut up. Now is not the time to be having second thoughts.
No.
So just keep them to your fucking self. Don't bring that energy into this.
Yeah. I don't mean to make you nervous.
But this is going to end horribly. Shut the fuck up. In the front, Scott asks Jacob what he's going to do, but Jacob insists that he's going to try to get them across the border. Scott thinks that they need to tell the guards what's going on, but Jacob asks him if he's forgotten about his sister. In the bathroom, Richie wants it on record that he thinks that all of this is a very bad idea. Seth tells him that it's noted. As the security dogs inspect cars outside, Scott tells Jacob that if they get them over the border, they're going to take them out into the desert and shoot them. But Jacob says that if they can get them over the border, the brothers are going to let them go. Scott says that he's seen all the reality shows, though, and they never let anyone go. Any cop will tell them that if they have the opportunity for an escape, they need to do it.
Scotty, you've lost all speaking privileges.
But I get what he's saying. I do get what he's saying, but no.
But
like
right now?
Now's not.
Can we talk about this after?
Well, this is the first chance he's had to talk to his dad.
Well,
we got to get the fuck out of here, Dad. Like,
yeah, and I love you, son, but we can't be doing this
please
right now.
Please just listen to your father. Jacob admits to his son that he doesn't completely know what's going on here, but he's just going to have to trust him. Scott says that he can't, and if Jacob won't tell the cops, then he will. This is when I'm Jackson. Like, I would be freaking the fuck out. I would be freaking out.
Go in the bathroom with your sister.
You shut your mouth right now. I'm so fucking scared right now.
Well, yeah, dude, be quiet. They're right there. Like, shut the fuck up.
We can't do this right now.
No.
Jacob sternly tells his son that he's not going to do a goddamn thing. He's running the show and he makes the decisions. He makes the fucking chocolate.
God damn it. Yes. Exactly.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
He's Willy Wonka.
I'm just saying. This is his chocolate factory. But they continue arguing as border guard, played by Cheech Marin, approaches. Now, if y'all like Cheech Marin, you're going to be real excited as we move forward. But just before he gets to the window, Jacob shushes Scott. He tells him that he makes the plays and he backs the plays he makes. He needs him to just play along. Scott looks incredibly hesitant, but he stops arguing. Jacob pleads with him to cover him just as the guard knocks on the window. He asks how many people are in the vehicle. It just goes in. As soon as Jacob answers, I'm like, fuck. But he asks how many people are in the vehicle, and Jacob's like, well, it's just me and my son. He asks what they're doing in Mexico, and Jacob tells him that they're vacationing, and he's taking Scott to see his first bullfight. In the bathroom, Richie mutters that they're going to search the RV, but Seth tells him that as long as he doesn't act like a fucking nut, it'll be fine. Richie's like, what's that supposed to mean? He accuses Seth of calling him a nut, but Seth says that he didn't. And in his defense, he didn't. He said, don't act that way. He didn't say you are.
It's different.
Richie continues, his voice getting louder and louder. Seth sighs and tries to squash the situation, telling him that he just meant to be cool. But Richie isn't so easily calmed. He keeps yelling, finally throwing Kate to the side to confront his brother, and Kate thuds against the wall. The guard asks what that sound was, and Jacob's like, oh, it's just my daughter in the back. Yeah. I was like, Jacob, no.
Yeah. Dude.
Hold on. Could he said it was a dog or something?
Yeah.
Would that have been better? Well, but then if they go in and there's a dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
The guard reminds him that he said it was only him and his son, but Jacob was like, oh, no, I meant me, my son, and my daughter.
Yeah.
The way he says it, it's like, he's coming aboard.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Yeah.
The guard is like, open up. In the bathroom, Richie asks his brother just what the nuttiest thing he ever did was. Was it breaking Seth out when he was rotting in jail? Because that was pretty nutty and also stupid. Seth punches his brother in the face, knocking him out and onto the floor of the shower. Kate stands back up and quietly thanks him. The guard comes into the RV, eyeing Jacob suspiciously with good reason. He's followed by a guard with a dog. He knocks on the bathroom door and Kate calmly responds that she's in there. He identifies himself as Border Patrol and she says that the door is unlocked. He opens it to find Kate sitting on the toilet. She asks him to shut the fucking door, please. And he finally does, taking a disgusting and lingering look at her as he does so.
You're gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
Everyone's gross except Jacob and Scott, I guess.
Yeah. Well, what did Kate do?
Well, I mean, all the men.
Scott's a boy.
Yeah, well, you know. I didn't want him lumped in. But once he's gone, we see that Seth is propping Richie up behind him in the shower, barely concealed by the curtain. Later, Scott knocks on the bathroom door and Seth comes out. He looks out the window and sees that they are pulling away from the border into Mexico. He's thrilled, celebrating with Scott, but calling him a little piece of shit. He's like, where have we made it, you fucking little piece of shit?
Thanks.
You're happy, man.
And he calls Kate out of the bathroom. He gets everyone's attention, saying that he knows he's been rough and that he's put them through hell, but they're all in his cool book now. He asks for Scott's help with Richie, carrying him over and lying him down on the couch, then tells Jacob the directions to where they're going. They're apparently headed to a bar called the Titty Twister, and Seth says that from his understanding, you cannot miss it. Jacob asks, then what? Seth tells him then he stops because that's where they're going. Jacob continues to drive as the sun sets. Richie is still passed out and Seth wakes him up. When Richie asks what happened, Seth tells him that his hand was hurting and he just passed out. He asks if he's okay and Richie is confused but says that he's fine. His head's just fucked up.
I just want to talk about a few things very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, the magic of filmmaking with them at the border.
Yeah.
The way that it was shot was all kinds of out of sequence.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel wasn't available whenever Cheech Marin was available, so Harvey Keitel is talking to nobody.
Oh my God.
Whenever they got
It works though.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they got Cheech Marin available, it was because he had to shave his mustache because of things we'll see.
Well, yeah. We don't need to.
We'll talk. And so by the time it was available, Harvey Keitel's working on another film.
All right.
They film his stuff separately. All the stuff in the bathroom is on a set, and so it's a completely different day.
That's wild.
Man.
Wild.
Couldn't
editing.
even tell.
Not at all.
It's funny because we were watching an episode of Yellow Jackets recently, and it was a scene with two people, and I was like, they're not in the same room.
Really?
You could.
Yeah.
I told John Paul, and he's like, damn it, you're right. Like, you could tell. We're looking at her, then we're looking at her, then we're looking at her, then we're
Yeah.
looking at her, then we're looking at both of them, but it's the back of her head. Like, it was very clear.
Yeah.
This I would never have guessed. The way that it's shot, because the tension is so good.
Yeah.
You don't feel like they're not there.
Rodriguez was worried because he said the way that it was written, he's like, I don't think I can get that tension off the page into the scene.
Yeah.
But when he was cutting it together in the editing room, he's like, oh, the tension's there.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is there.
Because
Yeah.
even knowing what happens, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm scared for the Fuller family.
Yes.
Yeah. And thanks Seth for fucking Richie. God damn.
Yeah,
Lord.
that's
At
enough of
this
you.
time,
Yeah.
this
That's
is when
enough.
you want to do that.
That was the only solution.
Yeah.
He was
th-
fucking. Was it breaking you out of jail? 'Cause
Yeah.
that was pretty much, it's like, stop. Dude.
I don't think you're allowed to be a murderer and also be that sensitive. Like
Yeah.
so you gotta
You
pick
gotta
one.
pick one.
Because you're giving me a lot of problems that I need to deal with.
And please lighten up because we
Yes.
got you where you wanted to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please calm down a little bit.
We can only hope. I do love that shot of the sunset as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
But Seth excitedly tells his brother that they're in Mexico and headed toward the rendezvous. There's nothing left to do but drink beer and wait for Carlos to come and take them down to El Rey. And once they're in El Rey, they'll just kick back. Richie asks where his glasses are, and Seth takes them out of his jacket, giving the sad news that they broke when he fell. Richie is immediately incensed, saying that those were his only pair. Seth promises to buy him a new pair when they get to El Rey, but Richie's like, okay, yeah, like they're going to have my prescription.
Dude. Go back to sleep.
I'm pretty sure
no
that
shit.
people in Mexico wear glasses.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get you set up. It's
there
going to be
are
okay.
optometrists?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Annoyed, Seth tells his brother that nothing is a big deal until he makes it a big deal. He puts the glasses on Richie's face, the right lens completely shattered. Seth says that he was in a great mood and tells Richie to stop bringing him down with his bullshit. Richie quietly insists that he can't wear these and takes them off his face. Jacob calls out to them that they're here, and that's when we see it. As advertised, you cannot miss it. A huge bar at the end of the road with a bright neon sign that reads Titty Twister, open dusk till dawn. There's a neon outline of a woman, and as the name of the bar suggests, a titty is being twisted.
All right.
I mean, but it is what we
Yeah.
see.
Like, is that still decorum?
I mean,
no.
I'm trying.
No, you're doing your best. You're doing your best.
Another birthday present. There are signs advertising nude dancing and girls, drinks, food, and there are pyrotechnics. Like, this place is fucking lit.
Very
Looks
good.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm proud of you.
It is. It's the place to be. She's Just Killing Me by ZZ Top plays as we see the customers outside getting rowdy as Jacob approaches in the RV.
I did want to talk about, because they mentioned it on commentary, Tarantino constantly, since Pulp Fiction, is getting all of these offers to franchise Jackrabbit Slims.
Right.
And he's saying that he saw Jackrabbit Slims as a critique of those kinds of places.
Right.
But he said what he wishes people would say is, can we franchise T-Twisters?
Is that a stutter?
Yes. I've developed a stutter. No. I just thought the word's coarse. But
That's a great word.
what, Twister?
Titties, man.
Titties.
Look,
anyway,
all I'm saying,
I would go to one. It looks like a
Hell
fun place.
I wouldn't go to this one.
No, not this one.
Well, we don't. It looks fine right now.
I just want to say you got way.
I'm not committing to
You
that.
got very defensive.
Not this one. Not this one.
In fact, you screamed at me.
No, not this one. Not this one. On the steps of the Titty Twister, though, emerges the caller, Chet Pussy, played by Cheech Marin.
Again. Wait, that's his name?
Chet
Yeah.
Pussy. Yes, that's his credit.
Little.
That's why I was like, I'm going to hold it together as long as I can because it's not going to be for long. But they're having something of a blowout at the Titty Twister tonight. And if you're in the market for pussy, then you're in luck because they've got all types and Chet is happy to detail literally all of them.
Oh, wow. A sell?
Yeah, it's a blowout.
All right.
I think you buy one, you get one for a penny is what I heard.
It's a bargain.
So is this his night job?
Yeah.
Little decorum.
Are you that border?
I swear I saw you like an hour ago about to kick my ass or whatever. All I'll say as far as this is, he loves what he never works a day in his life.
No, he loves what he does.
I've never seen anyone love their job more. I will say that decorum has left the building.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There is no decorum at the Titty Twister.
Yeah.
I should have assumed
You
this.
should have known that going in.
That's my fault. I'm sorry.
But Richie peeks out the window at all the commotion and people riding their motorcycles in the lot in front of the bar. Inside, Seth gives them the rundown. The bar closes at dawn and Carlos will be there to meet them before it closes. He says they're going to go inside the bar, have a bunch of drinks, and wait for Carlos. He tells them that he's very happy about the I don't fuck with you, you don't fuck with me vibe that they've cultivated. If everyone can just stay within that vibe, including Richie, then he assures them that everyone will get what they want. He offers to buy as they all get out of the RV and look up at the neon, fiery venue in front of them. Wrapping an arm around each of his children, Jacob muses, out of the stew pot and into the fire.
Do the Fullers really have to go inside?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they could run away.
You take the keys. I'll sleep.
They could run away.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, they all need to be with them because that's what I was like. Why do they need to all hang out all night? They could run back to the border and be like, the Gecko Brothers are the fucking Titty Twister. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're at.
Yeah.
You can't miss it.
They know where it's at.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to stay in his sight until they're safely in El Rey or until they leave with Carlos.
Yeah.
All right, fair point.
But on the steps with the microphone, Chet continues his announcements, including the penny sale that they've got going on right now for the frugal among us. He ends his spiel by looking directly into the camera before throwing his head back and cackling. As the Fullers and the Geckos approach, he makes a disgusting comment about Kate being a new flavor to sell, but he's quickly distracted as Seth tries to push past him. He tells him not so fast and places a hand on Seth's chest, but Seth immediately breaks his arm and punches him repeatedly in the face. Chet goes down and Seth leads the rest of the group inside, except for Richie, who comes back out to kick Chet in the stomach, asking how he's doing and that he hopes he's enjoying it.
Okay. I want to point out 2 things they said on commentary.
Yes.
One, what Tarantino said here was not scripted.
What?
And Rodriguez was like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because it really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't at all.
For such a great writer, I was like very confused.
Yeah.
And second, apparently Cheech Marin was getting fucking pissed because he had padding that he's wearing.
Yeah, yeah.
And Tarantino's missing it every single time.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
He goes-
and he's kicking the
He goes,
shit
he's
out
kicking
of
me in the
Yeah.
stomach, dude.
Oh my God.
He's like, this is the last take.
Yeah.
Literally. That's why they like keep the fucking line in. Keep the stupid ass line in.
It's weird, but we'll leave it.
But he goes back inside with the rest of the group, leaving Chet to collapse. As soon as they walk inside the bar, Seth announces happily that this is his kind of place. We pan around the bar as Angry Cockroaches, Cucarachas Enojadas by Tito and Tarantula plays. The band in the bar that is performing is played by Tito and Tarantula members Tito Lariva, Peter Atanasov, and Johnny Vatos Hernandez. And I think Robert Rodriguez is up there with them.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were in Desperado.
Right.
Yes.
They're great.
Yeah.
Yes. This music is fantastic.
It's perfect. But the bar is rowdy. Customers drinking, playing pool, smashing bottles, topless women dancing on platforms, tables, and the bar. The view circles back to Seth, who is happily taking it all in. He tells the group that he could become a regular here.
Got to talk about this place having quite an atmosphere.
Yeah.
The production designer was Cecilia Monteith, and she also was the production designer for Desperado as well.
Oh,
Nice.
But she gives this place so much character.
Yeah, it's a little dirty, but I mean, I like it. I think it's nice.
No, it is rowdy.
Yeah.
Like they're having the time of their lives in here.
Oh yeah.
So you're into the chain idea.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I told you I would go.
Just not this
one. Emphatically, not this one. But Seth approaches the bar, happily watching 2 customers beat the hell out of each other. The bartender, Razor Charlie, played by Danny Trejo, smiles and takes a shot as Seth walks over to him. Now, Danny Trejo also in The Devil's Rejects. I'm not forcing this. I'm just stating facts.
Yeah, but Danny Trejo's in everything. We
yeah.
we can't use that against.
We were talking off mic, and we are always so shocked and astounded and like impressed by how old Danny Trejo is.
Yeah.
He was 52 when this came out.
That's
Couldn't have
wild.
guessed.
No.
Never. He looks so young in this. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But his smile drops when Seth flatly declares whiskey. Not that 52 is old, but
No, he...
you don't think about Danny Trejo being born in 1944 is all.
No.
Is my point.
Well, no, but he also honestly doesn't. I mean, you're right. 52 isn't old, but he doesn't look like he's 52.
Not at all. I think because we're used to seeing him how we see him.
Yeah.
And so looking, we're like, oh my God, were you like 25?
No shit. When I think of Danny Trejo, I think of how he looked in like Machete.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so to see him outside of anything of that, it's like you were...
A baby.
Yeah.
You were an infant like Scott.
And you're tending bar?
Yeah.
Little guy?
Scamp. He's got one of those hats with the propeller.
Okay, what year is it?
All right, that's enough. But Razor Charlie pours a shot of whiskey after Seth orders it and takes it himself instead of giving it to him. Richie comes over and stands behind his brother as Razor Charlie tells him plainly that they can't be here. It's a private bar and he's not welcome. Seth asks if he's really telling him that he's not good enough to drink here, but Razor Charlie doubles down that this bar is only for bikers and truckers. He tells them to get out. Big Emilio, played by Ernest M. Garcia, places a large hand on Seth's shoulder, ready to escort him out. When Seth doesn't oblige, he warns him that he's going to count to 3, but Seth turns on him and offers to count to 3 himself. When Big Emilio starts with 1, Seth counters with 2.
I gotta say, that is a very cool moment.
It
Oh
is.
no, yeah. There's nothing you can do besides after that. After that, whatever you said, it's like I'm just gonna go sit down.
Yes, sir.
That guy's like, I'm not gonna say 3.
Yeah.
He's too eager.
Yeah, you've got a 50-50 chance here, and by this guy's confidence, I don't know if I want to take that chance.
Yeah.
Because he's there. He's got these friends. I don't know why there's children here. I don't like this situation.
Well, it
No.
kind of seems like you want to get to 3.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
You're kind of excited for 3 to come.
It is kind of funny that they aren't like, those kids can't.
No, not at all.
Nobody.
They're like, are those kids bikers?
Those kids better have a...
Better have a hog outside. But Jacob steps to them, trying to de-escalate. He tells them that there's no reason to get ugly. It's all just a misunderstanding. He asks Razor Charlie if this bar is really only for truckers and bikers, because he is a trucker. He invites him to look in the parking lot at his mobile home that he legally obtained a Class 2 license to drive. He hands his wallet with his license over to Razor Charlie, who eyes his credentials. Jacob sums it up by saying that he is a truck driver and these are his friends.
I gotta say, the editing of this section is so fun
Yeah.
because Tito and Tarantula are punctuating
They're
his
killing
sentences.
it. Yeah, they're killing it.
They're like, "Da-dum, dum." It's like, it's my license. Da-dum, dum. It's like, whoa, that's amazing.
They're in on this.
Yeah, did you guys rehearse this earlier?
The tension mounts as the band continues to play the song, but is finally broken when the singer croons into the mic. Satisfied, Razor Charlie closes the wallet and welcomes the group to the Titty Twister. Seth orders a bottle of whiskey with 5 glasses, and Razor Charlie tells him, coming right up. As he goes to get the glasses, the music continues, and much to Scott's delight, the women continue to dance. Razor Charlie comes back with the glasses, and when Seth asks if they serve food, he boasts that it's the best in Mexico. Seth expresses his doubt, which I'm like, oh, it's fucking rude. It could be. You don't know.
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah, but he tells him to send a waitress over to take their order. As they make their way to a table, the song finally ends, and Mary Had a Little Lamb by Stevie Ray Vaughan takes its place. Seth finds their table by kicking the man seated at it away and helping down the woman dancing on top of it. At the next table, Sex Machine, played by Tom Savini, sits, having watched all of what just happened as he plays with whip. It's funny because while like Seth is like kicking the guy out of the way and everything, you see Tom Savini sitting behind him like, oh, like watching it.
He does that a lot.
It's really funny. Like if you just look at the crowd, he's just sitting there like he's a normal dude.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny.
They were saying on commentary that, okay, first of all, if you Google who did makeup effects on From Dusk Till Dawn, Tom Savini comes up, and he did not do any of the effects.
Right.
He was just an actor on this film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But he kind of was approached very early on, and then when they got him and said that they wanted him to play this part, they had to convince Miramax to let him play it because they didn't know exactly who he was.
What?
And they're like, you need to understand something. Tom
What?
Savini is fucking Tom Savini.
Yeah.
They said, horror
He
conventions.
was a legend already.
yeah, I
you
know.
know, all the films that he had done previous, but they're like, well, we don't understand. They're like, no, this is very important that Tom Savini plays this part.
They're like,
Yeah.
we don't know who the hell Tim Savini is. That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was so surprised. Like, for anybody to have to explain why Tom Savini's great is wild.
Yeah.
Literally. But when his friend, Sex Machine's buddy, played by Greg Nicotero, returns to the table, Sex Machine uses his whip to wrap around his friend's new bottle of beer and bring it to him. With a triumphant smile, he takes a drink, but his friend is pissed. He takes out a switchblade and looks at Sex Machine threateningly, but Sex Machine just looks down at himself, and just below his belt, a patch of fabric is ripped away to reveal a gun and 2 cylinders that is in the shape of a dick and balls, okay?
All
Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's great. It is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. When we met Tom Savini at Frightmare,
Yeah.
John Paul got his autograph, and that's the picture he picked. It's him sitting there with the
I got
codpiece
a
gun.
picture with them too.
You did get a picture
Yeah.
of them, but that was the one that he signed. It's hanging on our wall.
Yeah. That's what's better than that? Come on.
Very little.
That's also in the briefcase in Desperado.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
The logistics of it all. Because he's like,
Well,
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, what?
How does it even
he
work?
did.
I don't know.
all he did was look at it.
Yeah. that too. It's like, How did that happen?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
On a more like technical thing, I just wanted to say Nicotero was kind of a protege of Tom Savini.
Okay.
And so it's kind of cool to have this moment together.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Because he's K&B, did this movie.
They were talking, like I said, that documentary was a lot of them just hanging out and talking. And I think one of the assistants was saying what a crush she had on Greg Nicotero because he was so cute. it was just really fun to watch.
You're like, we're not learning anything.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Greg Nicotero, dreamy. That was my notes. That's what I put in my notes. But he looks back at his friend with a warning shake of his head, and his friend heeds the warning, closing his blade and leaving the table. Sex Machine smiles and enjoys his newly caught beer. Back at their table, Richie tells Scott that if he wants a lap dance, it's on him. Seth offers Jacob a drink, but he declines it. And when asked, he tells Seth that he does drink, he's just not drinking now. Seth doesn't care. He sees this as more for him. He offers Scott a drink and Scott says no, so he offers one to Kate. Kate says that she can't because she's not 21 yet, but Seth gives her a shot of whiskey anyway and Jacob doesn't stop her from taking it. She takes the shot with the Gecko brothers and seems to regret it immediately.
I think Kate's my favorite character.
Kate's great.
Yeah.
Kate's great.
Kate is great.
Seth gives a shot to Scott, and this time Jacob opposes, but Seth says that he's going to take the shot because he's not going to drink by himself. He gives it back to Scott and gives another one to Kate, who thanks him and is like, yes, I'll have another, thank you. Seth takes a shot with the Fuller kids before repeatedly slamming his glass onto the table, suddenly very agitated.
I did just want to point out Scotty's reaction to taking the shot.
Yeah.
Because he looks like he's transforming into a monster. But that he's also trying to play it cool like he's not.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's what every shot of whiskey I've ever taken is.
Yeah. And if it's not good, it's going to taste
But
bad.
try to be like, well, it was great, guys.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about any of this. Every shot I've ever taken. But Jacob basically asks Seth what his problem is, and Seth admits that he's still mad about the confrontation with Big Emilio. Jacob asks what he's going to do, and Seth details his plan of finishing the bottle of whiskey and then busting it over Big Emilio's head. Jacob reminds him of the talk he gave to everyone to just be cool when they came here, but Seth tells him that they need to do as he says, not as he does. At another table, Frost, played by Fred Williamson, is stacking dominoes.
Fred Williamson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forget every single time that he's in this, and I'm very excited to see him.
Yeah.
Blaxploitation star.
Yeah.
Icon.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I did look, and I completely forgot about this. In 1978, he was in a film called The Inglourious Bastards.
That's right. Yeah.
Very cool.
Because I know he did Black Cobra and is it the Elite Commando or something like that? Delta Force.
There you
That's
go.
what it, Delta Force Commando.
He was the Hammer is what they kept calling him on.
I was looking at his IMDb, and this dude has worked steadily, like almost every single year since the 70s. Like up till now, he's a like. I was like, holy shit.
He also played football for then the Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
He's I saw he also directed features.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
What a badass.
Yeah.
Well, I saw in that interview they did, or that doc, they did interview him a little bit, and he was basically saying like that if he wants to see the kind of films that he wants to see, he needs to make them. And it was really funny because they're interviewing him while he has a very elaborate piece of makeup on that we'll see later. And I was like, man, y'all could have just got him being him talking, but that's fine.
I bet that's so funny.
That's fine, I guess.
Can't pick another day. Or
Yeah, no shit.
come back later.
It had to be right now. Okay, got it. But he doesn't get far with his dominoes when the table shakes from the woman dancing on top of it and they fall over. He sticks his cigar in his mouth, annoyed, but when the dancer leans down with a lighter and a smile and lights the cigar for him, he seems over it pretty quickly. At their table, Jacob asks Seth if he's really such a fucking loser that he can't realize when he's won. Seth asks what he just called him, but Jacob truthfully tells him that he didn't call him anything. This is just like the scene in the tub with Richie. He says he didn't make any statements. He just asked a question. He asks if Seth wants him to ask it again, and visibly seething with rage, Seth is like, I was like, never mind. You're so cool, Seth. So Jacob does ask it again. Are you such a loser that you can't tell when you've won? He reminds him that all of Texas, including the FBI, are looking for him, but they didn't find him. He tells him, you won. Enjoy it. Seth's anger dissipates and he insists that Jacob have a drink with him. He pours them each a shot and they clink glasses. Seth toasts to Jacob's family and Jacob toasts to his in return as they both take the shot.
I thought when Jacob took the shot, Seth was going to push it into his face.
Yeah.
Like, I do not trust you.
Yeah.
Because he got over it really quickly.
Too quickly.
But he's right. You got away and you're over here mad at the bouncer. You're that mad that you're going to blow this all up.
So I'm going to finish this glass.
Yeah. No, true. Yeah.
He had a plan. He's right. Shut the fuck up. Nothing should bother you right now.
No.
Literally everything in the world should roll off your back. You won.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. But the lights dim in the bar as Razor Charlie takes the mic on the stage. He introduces for their viewing pleasure the mistress of the macabre, the epitome of evil, the most sinister woman to ever dance on the face of the earth. He tells them to bow their heads and kneel and worship at the feet of Santonico Pandemonium. The curtains open and there she is, Santonico Pandemonium, played by Salma Hayek.
So we love Salma Hayek in this house.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. All hell, Salma Hayek.
Yes. Hail Salma.
I was surprised to learn that in the script, Tarantino wrote this character. The name of this character was Blonde Death.
Okay.
And so after they got together, him and Rodriguez started hashing out all the details. Rodriguez, in the back of his mind, he's like, I want Salma Hayek for this part.
Rodriguez
yeah.
is like, I happen
'Cause-
to know the most beautiful woman
Yeah.
in the fucking world. Maybe we should call her.
Yeah.
So he's trying to quietly and, secretly convince Tarantino to change his mind.
Uh-huh.
And so he has done all this research on Aztec mythology and vampirism. And so he's like, I think I have another angle on this.
Right.
And through that, they decide to cast Salma Hayek. And because of a poster that happened to be at the Video Archives in Los Angeles of a 1975 film of the same name,
Yeah.
she got the name Santonico Pandemonium.
Oh, nice.
Love
all
that.
Right, all right.
But the crowd is hushed as she steps into the light and the stage spits fire around her. She wraps her cloak around herself, and when the band begins to perform After Dark, oh my God, the song is so fucking good.
The whole thing is brilliant.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Iconic.
But she opens the cloak again to reveal a snake wrapped around her. I did read that she was terrified of snakes and almost declined the whole thing because of the insistence of using the snake.
Mm-hmm.
But that Tarantino, and this was a lie from my understanding, said that if she didn't want to do it, they were already in talks with Madonna of playing this part. And so if she wasn't going to do it, then they would just get Madonna to do it.
Is this on set? He's like, I got Madge on the phone, all right?
All right. But that she had to go to therapy sessions to be able to get through this because she was so
Jesus.
scared.
That's sad. Well, I mean, they also said that the snake was part of the mythology.
Okay.
So it became necessary.
Right.
Like, look, the snake stays in the picture.
It's either Snake and Salma or Snake.
The Madonna.
Yeah.
Or just the
Yeah, the
snake.
snake's getting top bill. All right.
Well, but you can't really tell that it's bothering her.
No.
Not at all.
And because I was wondering too, and I looked in the interview that I had seen with her. She said that she had to kind of put herself in a trance and just the snake's not there, and just did the scene. And she was like, like you said, babe, that she was terrified of the snake. And she was like, that's how I got through it. And it sucked, but I got through it.
Well, she did the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
did the
Hell
damn
yeah.
thing. And I read that they didn't give her choreography, that she just went up there and did this, that they were just like, just feel the music or whatever. And she is mind blowing.
I would need so much direction of all of this. Like,
Hello, Mr. Snake. I'm not trying to.
I'm trying to shake the snake's hand. It doesn't have any. I don't know. I'm like, cut. We need to go back to one. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I've already fucked this up.
Yeah, I quit. Call Madonna.
But she dances and is just utter perfection as the entire bar watches her breathlessly. When the snake is lifted off of her, she leaves the stage and walks across the tables, past Frost and Sex Machine, and directly onto the Fuller Gecko table. She makes a beeline for Richie, who sits on the end. Now, if you're wondering why she would go past Seth, the guy that looks like fucking George Clooney, and would walk over to Richie, you got to remember who wrote this.
Time out.
I was going to make a note of that.
I'm just
in about 2 seconds.
It's even more evident in a second.
I just want to say that thematically, it makes perfect sense.
Anyway.
but George Clooney said on set, he goes, I feel like this is Tarantino, the writer, taking care of Tarantino, the actor.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
As the music continues, she puts her foot in Richie's mouth. And if, I don't need to say it. We all know Tarantino's got some preferences. And she pours a bottle of whiskey down her leg. Finally, she nudges Richie away with her foot before drinking from the bottle herself and letting it fall from her mouth into Richie's. So he has drank whiskey from her mouth and also from her feet.
He's writing it. He's like, this might sound crazy. All right?
He had it in the fucking contract. No. This is here. He's like, we can't change this.
I'm not playing Richie unless...
Yeah. I was like,
The snake stays, and so does this.
It's like, Quentin, come on, man. Right, I'll take this whole thing down.
Yeah,
all right.
You're doing too fucking much.
Do you want to film or do you not want to film?
All right.
All right.
But she kisses him before dancing again in the middle of the table. Finally, the song comes to an end and everyone cheers, including a very excited Seth. It's funny because he's like, oh, that's what I call a fucking show. Yeah. And then it pans out and you see his mouth at the table going, no, that's what I call a fucking show.
That's amazing.
I was laughing.
It's like, I'll say it so nice of him to say it twice.
That's
like, his mouth is clearly saying.
There's a few times
I was like, yes, I love this shit. I love it.
Maybe his editing isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe he was saying it again.
Yeah.
But with a smile, Santonico Pandemonium looks toward the door, and when Seth follows her gaze, he sees Chet there, who I guess has finally regained consciousness.
I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, they
beat his ass.
They beat his ass for no reason.
Yeah.
But the smile drops from Seth's face and he tells his brother to get back on the clock. With Big Emilio and Razor Charlie backing him, Chet angrily makes his way toward their table. Without turning around, Richie asks, how many? Seth tells him 3 just as they approach.
On commentary, Tarantino said that he liked that back and forth so much that rewatching the film later, he's like, why didn't I have more scenes like this with them like working as a team?
Well, it's hard to be a team with Richie.
That's probably why.
I was looking for the words, but
not a team kind of guy.
Razor Charlie asks who it was, and Chet reports that Seth broke his finger and his nose, and Richie kicked him in the ribs while he was already down. Richie turns, pulling out his gun, but Razor Charlie is faster and stabs a knife through Richie's already injured hand, right through the duct tape concealing the hole, and of course, Richie screams. Seth snaps into action and shoots Big Emilio in the chest. He had it out for him.
Yeah, that is true.
He comes for him pretty hard. But Richie pulls the knife from the table and stabs Razor Charlie in the shoulder. Seth continues to shoot Big Emilio, even though he's already down, and Richie gets on top of Razor Charlie, stabbing him repeatedly before stabbing the knife into the tabletop. They both point their guns at the crowd, Seth warning them to be cool or they'll be just as dead as Big Emilio and Razor Charlie. Santonico Pandemonium stands motionless in the middle of the table. Seth checks his brother's hand, which is covered in blood, and this seems to finally draw some kind of attention from her. But from behind them, Chet laughs. They turn to him, and Seth asks if he thinks it's funny. Before Chet can respond, they both shoot him dead. Seth turns toward the crowd, telling them all to sit down. But from where they're crouched behind the table, Jacob notices the knife that Richie stabbed Razor Charlie with. It is dripping with thick, bright green ooze.
So this went south really fast.
Yes.
We were just having the time of our lives watching this performance.
That was a fucking show or whatever.
Yeah.
Twice.
And I know all this just happened, and the other bystanders are kind of like, oh shit. But nobody looks really worried. Or not too many people in here seem like they're not used to this.
Well, they witnessed 2 murders.
Yeah.
And
Brutal.
they're like, yeah, I'll have another whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like over here. Yeah.
They've been ignoring the side of the bar all night. But Santonico Pandemonium continues to stare at Richie's hand, dripping with blood, and seems to be overcome. Kate looks up at her just as her beautiful face morphs into that of a monster. She warns Richie as Santonico Pandemonium jumps on his back. Seth tries to shoot her, but he's out of bullets. It's too late anyway. She takes a bite out of crime, and by crime, I mean Richie's neck. Blood pours down his body by the time Seth loads and shoots her in the head. She falls off of him, but Richie hits the floor too. He only has time to call her a bitch before he dies. Honestly, good riddance, but poor Seth takes it hard. His eyes well with tears, but his time to grieve is cut short when Razor Charlie, monster-fied himself, sits up like the fucking Undertaker. Big Emilio follows suit, then Chet. Everyone is horrified and Kate screams. Razor Charlie comes straight for Sex Machine, who's still sitting in his chair. I don't know what he did.
And you, you whipped my beer earlier. I thought that this was the shift.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so unexpected. I understand that Richie was just eaten and killed.
Yeah.
But not enough attention is paid to the fact that Santonico Pandemonium is a monster now.
Yeah.
Like everybody's just like, oh, Richie, no. I'm like, did you see that?
No, she fully.
What happened?
Yeah.
She fully transformed.
And what we're about to see, what was scripted, and this scared the hell out of producers because they're like, I don't know how much this costs.
Yeah.
All that was scripted was, quote, all hell breaks loose, unquote.
Okay.
And that's it.
It's not wrong.
No.
Yeah, no.
But Sex Machine blows Razor Charlie away with his dick gun. The Fullers.
I mean,
I wish everyone could have seen.
come on, dude.
It was a cock rocket.
Yeah,
Something.
the exasperation that you just.
A peenstone.
Yeah, see? There you go.
Happy birthday to me. You literally threw your hands up.
Well, because we're trying to maintain keep going. That's all.
But the Fullers try to make their way to the exit, but a dancer bars the door. She announces that dinner is served as her face morphs into that of a monster. Well, she's like, dinner is served. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm in.
I don't like how this is going. We can go. Right?
Be hitting the old dusty trail.
Did anybody get like vibes of there's certain like transitions that happen between like person to monster?
Yeah.
That reminds me a lot of a certain character transforming into an alien in the faculty. Did you get that vibe?
A certain character.
Oh, I don't want to.
I can absolutely see that. Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, 1000%. The Titty Twister is absolute chaos. People are getting eaten. The monsters that are still dancing are splattered with blood. The beautiful woman that had hit Frost's cigar now looks down at him with hunger and pointed teeth. He swings a stick and hits her off of the table. The band is now vampires as well, playing instruments made of dead people.
Were they like, now when did they do that?
They had them in the
I don't
Like, let's bring out our real instruments, fellas.
I don't care. I love it. That's the
It's the
fucking
guitar.
coolest thing.
What sound are you getting out of that guy?
Great.
The music's still
Yeah,
good.
great.
Right, how
Great
many
sound.
acoustics on this thing?
How do you tune it? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the
no
fuck?
Shit.
But a man's throat is slit. People are being eaten, all while the band continues to play. Seth calls out for Jacob, but Jacob has hidden his kids behind the bar and has left somewhere else. As he finishes eating someone's neck meat, Chet notices Kate. He goes over to her and asks if she knows what people say about him. He sucks.
All right.
You have time for
Yeah.
I loved it so much.
Kate's like, no, I don't. I've never met you, dude.
Yeah. That's great.
It's like, you've never heard of baby Chet Hudson? But before he can get to her, Scott hits him over the head with the bottle, but he kind of just bitch slaps Scott and Scott goes down. Kate takes the cross necklace from around her neck and shoves it into Chet's mouth. His body begins to smoke and he starts to melt into that green goo. Liquid shoots from his eyes, covering Kate before he finally falls to the ground, a dead skeleton.
So I want to talk about the green blood. That was a preemptive thing for the MPAA.
Yeah.
Because even just as scripted, they're like, this is going to be difficult.
For sure.
Oh, I bet.
So
it's
they had
funny
to.
how changing the color of it, it's like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Well,
The same thing is happening.
you remember House of the Dead?
Yeah.
They did the same shit. It was green as well.
That's just really funny.
But imagine trying to use, like we, again, and we say it a lot about Tom Savini and using the condoms full of fake blood and all that. But
Yeah.
how much, with what they're doing here, fake blood would we need if
Oh
we're
my
not
God.
using this green ooze?
a lot.
Like, I feel like the green ooze was a very smart choice.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember. I read it somewhere. It was on a site. And it's very funny because I think I read it on vh1.com.
Well,
You guys remember that?
oh, yeah.
Of course.
But they had said something along the lines of the death count in this film is like 122.
Damn.
God damn.
So if you imagine all that blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people are all full of blood.
Yeah.
But Frost is still kicking ass. He turns a table over and drops a dancer onto each upturned leg, impaling 4 of them. He looks disgusted as he walks away. Seth turns to come face to face with Santonico Pandemonium, now back in her human form. She mockingly tells him that she'll see if he tastes as good as his brother. Seth immediately shoots her and she goes down, but only for a second before popping back up. He tries to shoot her again, but the gun is empty once again and she punches him in the face, sending him flying across the bar. The band continues to play, the guitarist playing a guitar made of a human torso and head as Sex Machine fights for his fucking life. After jumping around and doing backflips, he's able to overcome and impale the dancers that he's fighting. Razor Charlie rips the arm off of someone before noticing him and advancing. He jumps over and rips his vest off. Sex Machine tosses him a pool stick and he catches it, but Sex Machine uses his whip to tie Razor Charlie's legs together and cause him to fall on the pool table. Sex Machine hits him with the pool stick, breaking it enough to impale Razor Charlie with it. He takes his whip back and gives the bartender a nod as he turns to dust.
I just want to point out on commentary, they said that Tom Savini not only came up with a lot of ideas for what Sex Machine does, he did his own stunts.
Oh, I bet.
That's so fucking cool, man. He is flipping around like nothing.
Yeah. That's one thing that I did enjoy about watching this was seeing him and Fred Williamson still kicking ass.
Hell yeah.
And like we were talking earlier about Danny Trejo, we like, oh, when we see him younger, we think 20, 30, whatever, but these guys have been working in the industry for so long.
Yeah, they're grown-ass men.
Yeah. And then knowing that and then watching them do all this, it's like, man, you guys are still out there with the newer stunt guys, with these younger actors. You're still out there like, you know what? We can do this shit and we're going to kick some fucking ass while we're doing it.
And they're doing great.
And, oh, yeah. It's fucking fantastic.
Santonico Pandemonium stands over Seth, planting a foot on his chest. She tells him that she's not going to drain him completely. She's going to make him her slave. And since he's not good enough to have human blood, she'll feed him the blood of stray dogs. Seth frantically tries to reload his gun, dropping bullets onto the floor. But she continues that his new job will be to be her footstool and that at her command, he'll lick the dog shit from her boot heels. And as her new dog, she gives him the name of Spot. I love that she's really detailing his new life to let him know what's coming.
Seth's like, you just met me. And you have all these plans.
Oh, yeah, already.
What did I
Damn.
do to deserve this? Seth finally loads the gun, and when we see Santonico Pandemonium again, she is in her monstrous form. She welcomes him to slavery, but Seth politely declines, telling her, no thanks, he already had a wife. Instead of shooting her, he shoots the chandelier above her, and it crashes down on her, and she melts away.
So on commentary, they talked about this line.
Mm-hmm.
This line was improvised by George Clooney.
Right.
And they said that whenever they came time for the edit, Tarantino pulled Rodriguez aside and he goes, I don't like that line at all. And so...
Poor George Clooney.
Yeah, no, goddamn.
I know we were friends on set. But he's like, it's very misogynistic.
Yeah.
He had him cut it from the film. And so it was cut from the film, but then what they already sent for the trailer to be made,
Okay.
they made the entire trailer punctuated on that line.
Oh, wow.
And so Rodriguez is like, we can't not have that line in the film now.
Yeah.
And so they were forced to keep it in.
There's so many better lines in this. Why would they build a trailer?
I don't know. They're like, that's great. It's like, really? But
we hate women. We hate women.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We know. We already knew that.
Yeah, it's Hollywood.
But Jacob finally comes over in time for Big Emilio to notice them. A man tries to stop him, but Big Emilio promptly breaks his neck and just keeps coming. When others try to stop him, he does the same. Seth laments that they might be in trouble, but they arm themselves with pool sticks. Behind Big Emilio, Frost calls out to him. He tells him that anything he has to say to them, he can say to him first.
Why is Frost defending them?
Pick on someone else.
Well, they're clearly the only other humans here.
That's
Yeah,
true. Like,
literally.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah. I think we're stuck together now.
Big Emilio rushes Frost, but Frost literally sticks his hand through his chest and rips his heart out. This doesn't deter Big Emilio, and when he comes for Frost, Seth and Jacob beat him with their sticks. Frost tells them that that's enough. I don't know why, because he's still alive.
He's had enough.
They were beating the shit out of
They
him.
were. It was pretty pretty brutal.
It's like, damn.
Even I feel bad.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, damn, that's too much. But Big Emilio is still alive, evidenced by his heart still beating in Frost's hand. Sex Machine comes over and picks up a pencil. He stabs it into the heart, and Big Emilio immediately and finally goes down. 4 dancers approach them, but Seth, Jacob, Frost, and Sex Machine make short work of them. They each take one, bludgeoning, stabbing, shooting, and impaling them until the face-off is over. Kate and Scott come out from behind the bar and join their father. Frost asks, aren't they supposed to burn up or something? And as if they were reminded to, they do. They burst into flames until they dissolve.
So this was really cool. One of those vampires was not like the others.
No.
No. I you had to notice.
Yeah.
She was a little further along.
But I mean, you look. Being a vampire in this universe is really just a choose your own adventure
It is. 'Cause,
kind of a thing.
I mean, this one had a giant mouth on its stomach. I don't know where that came from, but
Why?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh, right.
I'm trying to remember where I read it, but there was a scene that was taken out, and the vampire with the stomach mouth, or is it mouth stomach?
Both
Well,
are
whichever,
acceptable.
yeah.
Yeah.
They bite off one of the other customers' heads or somebody that was there. And I guess after they were looking at it, even Tarantino was like, "That's too much. Nobody want. Let's leave that out."
That might be too far. I'd say.
Yeah,
I mean, to leave her there like that is interesting, though.
yeah.
They're like, no,
that's-
she still looks great.
well, you
But
can
don't do
clearly
that.
tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I mean, I don't know where you came from, but
Sure.
But Kate and Scott run to the door. But Sex Machine and Frost set their sights on the band, who is no longer playing but just staring at them, holding their morbid instruments. Just as they set foot toward them, the singer proclaims, "Fuck you, everybody, good night." And the band promptly explodes.
Now,
wow.
there will be no encore.
Yeah. Well, they knew they were gonna die. I was
I-
like, no, that's all right.
That's wild. I don't
Yeah.
know what to make of
It made
that.
me laugh so
but it was funny.
He flipped them off, too.
Yeah,
he did.
he did say goodnight, and then they left.
Left is
Left.
weird.
That's one way.
As the rest of the group tries to get the door open, Seth finds his brother's body hidden beneath another body in some chairs. He takes everything off of him and speaks to Richie. He apologizes for fucking everything up and promises him that he would have loved it at El Rey and he would have found peace there. He tells his brother that he loves him, but shockingly, Richie opens his eyes and in a deep and distorted voice says, "I love you too, Seth," before morphing into a vampire. No.
Now,
Give me my flowers.
No, yeah. Only because it's your birthday.
I I really felt the talk to the boy.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
I will say this is where I realized that some of these vampires are gonna be cartoons.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like a caricature of Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
I told John Paul, why is he so big?
Yeah.
Like why is everything about him so big?
They had said, because I read an interview with Greg Nicotero where he was talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, the TV series.
Okay.
Because apparently those vampires look more like your standard vampires that you would think.
All right.
He said when we were doing the film, I was really just trying to accentuate the features of the people that the vampires were.
Okay.
So you see Tarantino.
Big ol' head.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it. Cheech Marin, they accentuated his facial features.
Yeah.
Right.
And another person we'll see that will have their features.
Yeah.
And then that one actress that has a mouth on her stomach.
Yeah, they love
They
her.
accentuated that.
They're like, we needed teeth is all.
But he rises to his feet and Sex Machine tries to jump him, but Richie tosses him aside like nothing. Frost is met with the same opposition, but Sex Machine snatches up a broken piece of wood and steadies himself to impale Richie. Seth presses the gun to the back of Sex Machine's head, promising him that if he attacks his brother, vampires won't have to suck his blood, they can just lick it up off the floor. Sex Machine reasons that Richie is not his brother anymore, but Seth tells him that that's a matter of opinion and he doesn't care about his. Jacob pleads with him not to be a fool because Richie will kill all of them, but Seth tells him to shut up and Richie repeats it. Shut up!
He's still in there.
He's in there somewhere. With Sex Machine out of the way, Seth takes a long look at his brother, who appears as Richie did before he died, but with creepy eyes before turning back into vampire Richie.
I think we all have some things to say about this.
What happened?
Something to choose.
Okay.
Now I'm Prune Tracy or whatever.
What I think when you have moments like this
Yeah.
is it the same thing in House of a Thousand Corpses when her father was being warned by Otis
Yeah.
and she saw her father like on the couch from a day previous.
Yeah. One day.
One day previous. That's kind of what I thought was going on here, but for Seth to be like, no, he's still vampire. Like,
Yeah,
I
no.
Yeah.
That's the thing I thought.
I still want you to
thought
see him this way.
the same thing that he was thinking of. My brother's still in there, but like he still was. He
still had the
was evil.
teeth?
Yeah.
And the contacts.
And the scary eyes.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we do see them. They were normal before, all the shit happened. They were talking and everybody seemed fine. They seemed coherent. They knew what was going on. So, I mean, it is his brother, but
Yeah.
can you not try to kill me?
Well, of course.
I don't think he can.
He seems
What?
chill when it comes to Seth.
Yeah.
He's even mimicking him. So I think everybody else just has the worry.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even when Richie was alive, we had the worry.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, no shit.
After a moment of contemplation, Seth tells Jacob, Frost, and Sex Machine to hold Richie down. They do. Seth puts the stake against his brother's chest and, hammering it in with the butt of his gun, he tells Richie that he's giving him in death the peace that he could not give him in life. As they hold his arms, Richie's body goes up in flames until his green goo-covered skull rolls at Seth's feet.
Was the size of his skull a little rude?
A little.
I thought that was kind of...
Some Frankenstein going on.
Yeah. It just seemed like an insult. It was like bullying, but
Yeah.
on a film.
That was not the writer Quentin helping
No.
the actor.
That was after they're
Yeah.
like, we're going to fuck with him a
We'll
little
take
bit.
it from here. Yeah.
It's like this was about the feet thing, wasn't it? It's like, yeah.
You know,
So
you give a
much.
little, you get a little.
Can't win them all.
Yeah.
When Sex Machine and Frost realize that they're just holding on to disembodied arms, they drop them in disgust. Seth goes over to the bar and pours himself a shot. Kate asks if he's okay, and he flatly tells her that he's peachy and the world is his oyster, except for the part where he just had to hammer a wooden stake through his brother's chest because he turned into a vampire when he doesn't even believe in vampires. Aside from that unfortunate business, everything's hunky-dory. Jacob puts his arm around his daughter and she offers an apology to Seth for his loss. He turns on her, telling her that that's bullshit because if she had the chance, she would have fed them both to the monsters. But Jacob steps up to Seth, asking why didn't he then? He apologizes for the fact that he lost his brother and that he's gone and everyone else is too, but he needs Seth to be clean and sober and thinking for them to get out of here, not drunk. There's a fluttering sound that grows louder and louder. Jacob asks what it is, and Frost says that he thought it was birds outside, but Seth tells them it's bats.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't know Batman was going to be here.
He's a little late, honestly.
Yeah, he's like, hey, guys. Oh, what the hell?
What the fuck?
Oh, my God.
He's not ready.
Robin, don't come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to see this.
Somebody cover the
Stay
boy's
out
eyes.
there.
You're just a boy.
Outside of the Titty Twister, we see hundreds of bats swarming the building. The front door begins to nudge with their weight, and Jacob asks for a hand keeping it closed. Frost snaps into action, bringing over a table to barricade it with. Kate backs away from the door, scaring herself as she stumbles over random body parts on the ground. When she finally backs up against the bar, another vampire makes itself known. His legs have been ripped off, and he drags the remains behind him as he makes his way to Kate.
As this is going on, I said, who the fuck is that guy?
I know.
Yeah.
He got a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
Random.
And I never saw him be bitten.
Yeah. I will say, though, his legs, him dragging behind him, look really cool.
It looks
It
great.
did.
Yeah.
It did.
She's oblivious to him until he grabs her and holds on until she falls. Kate screams as the vampire crawls on her, but never fear, Sex Machine is here. He stakes the vampire and he immediately bursts into flames, but another one appears. He attacks Sex Machine, but Kate jumps on his back and Sex Machine kicks him in the face. He's knocked down and Sex Machine helps Kate up so that she can run back to her father. Frost sets a matchbook on fire. Keeping a lit match for himself, he throws the matchbook on top of the vampire who bursts into flames. He lights his own cigar with the remaining match and tells Sex Machine that they'll take care of this. He tasks them with staking the rest of the ugly fucks, and Sex Machine assures him that he's way ahead of him. As he and Kate walk off together, they give a proper introduction, shaking hands. He's like, I'm Sex Machine. Nice to meet you.
It made me laugh. It's like his birth name.
Yeah.
Fuck
You'd
it.
think with the stakes, no pun intended, being this high that, you know, he'd have a proper name.
Yeah.
But no.
No.
That is his name. Kate advances on a fallen man, but hesitates when it comes to staking him. Sex Machine, though, is a staking machine, going from body to body and eradicating them. Kate looks down at her vampire with compassion, but when he springs to life and grabs her, she makes short work of him, staking him in the chest. Sex Machine glances over at Kate to make sure that she's okay, but the split second that he's let his guard down is all a vampire needs to spring to life and bite his arm.
Sex Machine looked over her like a proud father.
Yeah.
He did.
It's like, be proud later, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because it's all they need is just one opportunity.
Yeah.
Sex Machine stakes him, but the damage has been done. After Jacob secures the door, the group reconvenes in the center of the bar, and Sex Machine is wearing his leather jacket again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's warm in here.
Yeah.
Why'd you put
Why'd
that
you
on?
put that
Exactly.
back on?
And I, real quick, when they walked away from the door, were they shoving body parts in that motherfucker?
They
again?
were.
Yeah.
To block it
yeah.
or
You got to do what you got to do to keep the door closed.
Yes.
Jacob asks if anyone knows what's going on, and Seth does. There are a bunch of vampires out there that are trying to get in here and suck their blood. That's it. He loads his gun, saying that he doesn't want to hear anyone say they don't believe in vampires because he doesn't believe in vampires, but he believes his own eyes, and he saw vampires. He asks if everyone is in agreement with the fact that they're fighting vampires.
it's important.
Yeah, it is.
Kate says yes, and when Seth asks Jacob, Jacob agrees that he doesn't believe in vampires either, but he does believe what he saw. Taking charge, Seth asks what they know about vampires. Crosses hurt them. He asks if anyone has one, and Jacob says that they have one in the RV, but to Seth, this is a no. Scott says that there are crosses everywhere. All they have to do is put two sticks together. Sex Machine is like, by God, he's right.
Sex Machine's like, does anybody else feel like shit?
Yeah.
It's just me. Or
Yeah, on the cool.
like, oh my God, I'm pale. I can't think straight.
Does anyone else have a taste for blood right now?
Is anybody else teeth getting sharper? Is it just me? Or... that happen? Or?
Just trying to be cool.
Yeah, just be.
Seth asks what else. Frost volunteers that stakes through the heart have been working. Sex Machine piles on. Garlic, sunlight, holy water. He asks if Silver has something to do with it, but Scott corrects him. That's werewolves. Sex Machine says that he knows silver bullets are werewolves, but silver has something to do with vampires. Kate asks if anyone even has any silver, and when no one does, she concludes that it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Why are we arguing?
Yeah. Oh, shit. We don't have it.
Get past
Drop
that.
It doesn't matter.
Jacob asks if anyone has read a real book about vampires or if they're just reciting what they've seen in movies, and it's clear pretty quick that the answer is no. He asks what we know about these vampires then. Frost says that they've got superhuman strength, but they're able to be hurt. Sex Machine adds that it would be very hard to put a chair leg through a human body because our bodies are solid and strong. The vampires, though, have soft bodies. The texture of their skin is soft and they're mushy. He says you can push things right through them, and if you hit them hard enough, their head would just come right off.
Remember that.
Yeah.
On commentary, Tarantino said they enjoyed how much of the vampire lore they followed.
Yeah.
But he said if we added anything to the vampire lore from Dusk Till Dawn, it's that bodies are mushy. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like cool, I guess.
All right.
It's important, I
Yeah,
guess.
it
It is
is.
important. Seth says that the greatest weapon that they have against them is Jacob because he's a preacher. He says that as far as God is concerned, the rest of them are pieces of shit, but Jacob is one of the boys. He says the problem, though, is that Jacob's faith isn't what it used to be. Jacob swings on Seth, and Seth goes down hard. Jacob tells him he's had enough of his taunts, but Seth says he wasn't taunting him. They need him. He gets to his feet and says that a faithless preacher is useless, but a man of faith can take a cross and put it through the vampires. He could take tap water and bless it into a weapon. He says he knows why Jacob lost his faith. How could holiness exist if it could take his wife away? He says that he always said that God could kiss his ass, but he changed his tune about 30 minutes ago. Whatever is out there trying to get in is pure evil straight from hell. And if there is a hell that they're from, then there has to be a heaven too. Jacob just closes his eyes and shakes his head. Seth asks Jacob which one he is, a faithless preacher or a mean motherfucking servant of God. Jacob slowly puts his glasses back on and declares that he's a mean servant of God. That was fucking adorable. Yeah. And I loved this moment because I thought that Jacob would still be like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
And then it would come at a pivotal moment. But he's like, you know what, bitch? Yeah. I am that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at as they're going on with all the stuff that I think they were talking about the crosses.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sex Machine goes, oh yeah, Peter Cushing does that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you're just yes-anding him, and it's fantastic.
The fluttering starts outside again as Sex Machine suspiciously moves away from the group. Kate tells her father that she doesn't think she can take much more of the noise, but Frost says that she can. She can because she's got no other choice. He asks how Kate would like to spend 24 hours laying in a ditch with only the rotting corpses of her friends keeping her company.
I wouldn't like it.
wouldn't like that at all.
No.
Jacob asks what he's talking about, and after a puff on his cigar, Frost tells them that he was in Nam in 1972. He was trapped behind enemy lines with his entire squad dead. He says that they thought they had killed everyone, but they didn't know he was still alive. He explains that they tried to kill him and that he's so pretty because a grenade exploded right next to him. He says that when they put all the bodies on top of him, all he could do was lay there and play possum. He had to listen to them joke and laugh for hours. Leaning against the pool table, holding his whip, Sex Machine begins to hear the voices of women whispering to him. They whisper his name and they tell him to kill them. He's going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so is this what happened to everybody?
I guess.
Yeah.
No, Justin.
That's the thing. I don't know.
Everyone's process is different, okay? All right? Frost is telling his story, saying that he climbed out of the hole and snuck up on his enemies. The sound fades out as Frost pantomimes stabbing them, and the hissing in Sex Machine's ears grows louder. Feeling something strange in his mouth, he runs his tongue along his teeth to find fangs. He fills them with his fingers before widening his eyes and clamping his hand over his mouth in an attempt to hide them.
This entire thing.
It is...
From Frost being hilarious
Yeah.
with his silent pantomime.
It's like, okay, dude.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Now's really not the time for this.
But everyone's so enthralled by his
They are.
story.
Yeah.
But Sex Machine is hilarious.
Yeah, he's
His
going on a
reactions.
trip.
Yeah.
Dude's over there telling him war stories, and he's back there like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Nobody else seems that his stories are that good.
Yeah.
I mean, right before your very eyes.
The hand over his mouth suddenly grows claws, so he covers it with his other hand, but that one grows claws too. He hides his hands behind his back. Scott looks at him like, what the fuck? But then immediately turns his attention back to Frost's story.
Well, because Sex Machine just smiles at him. He's like, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's good. Don't worry about it.
Frost says that when he came to his senses, he realized he'd killed the entire squad. He describes the blood and gore hanging from his knife. He turns to the group to finish the story, but before he can get it out, a fully turned Sex Machine grabs him by the shoulders and sinks his teeth into his neck. Seth tries to attack him, but Sex Machine just flings him off, and when Jacob comes after him, he gets bit in the arm for his troubles. Kate screams. Now, this is why when you get bit in the apocalypse, you always tell your friends.
Yeah.
You have to be straight up about that. But it was funny to me that turned Sex Machine causes the most damage of any other vampire, like to our core group.
That is true.
He does the most out of anybody.
I honestly thought that would be Richie's role as a
I did too.
vampire.
Okay, yeah.
Well, because he was fucking shit up as a human.
Yeah, but
So
they're
you
like,
just-
no, we'll take care of him.
Yeah, they kind of made short work of Richie, but Sex Machine, that's who you got to look out for.
Indeed.
Well, Sex Machine was a badass when he was just a human.
He was.
True.
He was.
Now
These
he's
are
got super
facts.
strength.
Yeah.
Jacob screams and runs toward him, but is slapped across the room, falling behind the bar. Kate tries. The same thing happens, and she's flung to the other side of the room. Scott is hitting Sex Machine with a pool stick, but Seth takes it from him and tries to impale Sex Machine with it. He gets punched in the face for his troubles, and he goes down hard. Sex Machine zeroes in on Scott, who puts up his fists, afraid. But behind him, Frost yells that Sex Machine bit him. In response, Sex Machine whirls on him, asking what he's going to do about it. Frost gives a line that John Paul says all the time, "Come on, Sex Machine!" And after reaching behind him to bitch slap Scott, Sex Machine comes on.
It's great.
It's hilarious because we're still calling each other. But
Yeah. That was the name you gave me.
that's how I know you. Frost throws him, and Seth watches in horror as Sex Machine's body goes crashing through the front door. Now, was this an assist?
Yeah.
It feels like it. Thousands of bats fly squealing into the bar, surrounding Frost, who is now raising his arms in triumph. Full vampire. He turned in record time.
Yeah.
I got to say, whenever the barricade, I guess, broke,
Yeah.
the door's gone. I've seen this before, but I said, oh no.
Yeah.
Like out loud.
Yeah. This is one of those scenes I always remember.
Yeah.
Him turning and looking towards the camera and all the bats flying behind him.
Yeah.
I remember
That's like
this
such an iconic
constantly.
shot.
Yeah.
It is.
Seth grabs the Fuller kids and takes them to a door behind the bar, just as Frost notices them and points the bats in their direction. Seth, Kate, and Scott get the door open and run down a corridor with the bats hot on their trail. When they see another room, they run into it, Seth having to shoot the head of a vampire bat that slid in before he could close the door. But with him out of the way, he closes and locks the door.
I gotta be honest, when they hoofed it through this like corridor, I was like, this is just a vampire like palace. Like,
Yeah.
just no secrets. You just straight up have a vampire lair.
Yeah, right
Behind
behind the bar. Kate says that they need to go back for her father, but Seth tells her harshly that her dad is dead. Back in the bar, though, Jacob is not dead. He's bandaging his bitten arm, hiding behind the bar while the bats swirl loudly above him. He grabs a bat and a shotgun and sticks the bat through the trigger guard, making a cross. He stands, keeping the weapons in the cross position, and the bats have now gone into their vampiric forms and all stand, growling and facing him. As he makes his way around the bar, Jacob recites, "The people who walk in the dark have seen the light." When one jumps in front of him, he shoots it, then returns the weapons to the cross position. He continues this way, arming himself with the cross as he backs through the corridor that Seth and the kids went through. The vampires stay frozen at the threshold of the bar. Jacob kicks at the door, telling them to open up, and Seth does. I was like, well, that was easy.
You want to know something wild I learned on commentary? Because Tarantino wrote this in like 91, 92, whatever. He had it for a while, and nobody was wanting to make it. Kurtzman tried to get it made. He wanted to direct. Nobody would let him. So it's just sitting, kind of collecting dust.
Yeah.
While it's doing that, Tarantino's like, there are some pretty good ideas in here. And he starts taking them and using them for his other projects. One of them that they had to change in this film because he used it in Pulp Fiction was that thing that he's reciting as he exits the bar.
Okay.
Was supposed to be Ezekiel 25:17.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Really?
I knew you were going to say that.
It would have fit perfectly.
In Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And it worked, but it's too iconic. You can't use it twice.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, not at all. I did. Well, I'm kind of surprised he didn't because he seems
honestly.
like. But I also
and I think
read,
he got that from somewhere else. So
I'm sure. Yeah, I also read in that vein that when Salma Hayek is dancing, instead of after dark, he had planned for it to be down in Mexico.
Oh, so
And I guess Tito and Tarantula, since they had them, they decided to use their song instead, which I think fits way better.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously he did use the song for the lap dance in Death Proof. So it still got its play. And I love it in that. I think it works a lot better in that because After Dark is just, it's too perfect.
Yeah.
But Jacob goes inside and Seth locks the door behind him, but the reunion with his children is short-lived when Seth asks if he's been bitten. Jacob admits that he has, and Seth is devastated, threatening to kill every last one of the vampires on the other side of the door. Now, this is what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacob learned.
I very, very much appreciated
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
It's like, Jacob, where'd you get that leather jacket?
Does anybody else feel like shit?
Jacob assures Seth that this is true. He is going to kill every one of them, and Jacob is going to help him do it, but they don't have much time. Kate asks her father if he's going to be okay, and he truthfully tells her that he won't be. He's been bitten, so he's already dead. He tells the group now. I don't know where he's getting the math on this.
No, because it's been all over the place.
But I don't care. He tells the group that they've got 20 to 30 minutes before the vampires will be able to bust through the door, and that he'll probably be a vampire within the hour.
Well, they did hang out with Sex Machine for a little bit.
Sex Machine hung out for a while. Frost turned within minutes.
Yeah.
Richie turned after a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, when you look at like shows like The Walking Dead, where the zombie turning rate is like, it depends on how important the cast member is.
Yeah.
If they want
that's true.
devote a whole episode to them.
Harvey Keitel's like, I've got about an hour. I'm top billing.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit. But he tells them that their choices are to wait here for him to turn and then deal with him, or the four of them can go into that bar and hit the vampires with everything they have. But if they're doing that, it needs to be now. He looks around the room and finds many cobwebbed boxes. He asks what they are, and Seth guesses that the vampires in this bar have been feeding on truckers and bikers for a long time. This must be the stolen shipments from their trucks. Jacob proposes that they go through the boxes to find weapons so that when they finally burst through the door, they'll wish they never did. I thought our plan was to go after them, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Seth admits that he doesn't even care about living or dying anymore. He just wants to send as many of the devils back to hell as he can. Jacob cosigns. Amen. We get a montage of them searching and preparing. Some things in the boxes are useless, like plastic sunglasses and small toys, but some prove to be quite useful. This kind of made me laugh because the packages of the sunglasses that they find in the box, they're being sold at the liquor store. On the counter at the liquor store.
That's great. Like, we just have these props.
Yeah. Just shove them in there. It's fine. Scott finds a huge water gun and Seth finds a drill and makes a stake to stick on the end of it. He turns it on and it's a successful fusion. Scott affixes water balloons onto his water gun, and in a box with a cross on it, Kate finds a crossbow. They carve crosses into the heads of bullets.
Now, that was very convenient.
It was.
Because the box was dirty, but inside was clean and everything was nice.
The box was keeping it clean.
I'll take the dirt.
Yeah. Somebody had to have opened that fucking thing before.
The prop master.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading reviews and a lot of people were like, the last 15 minutes, the last 20 minutes, they just lose me. It gets stupid. Da da da. I'm like, I'm still here. Like,
Yeah, I don't think so.
I will say the drill is very cartoony.
Yeah, how practical? Like, is that
Yeah.
really gonna work?
And is it even really like, yeah. When you look at it, it doesn't look like it has much power behind
Yeah.
it.
That's you having to throw this
Yeah.
big ass thing at something.
So do we
they're
even
mushy.
need the drill?
Are y'all not paying attention? They're soft bodies.
all right. Unlike Mac,
Yes.
Yes.
the hard part.
Outside, the vampires are just beginning to cautiously creep along the corridor. Jacob blesses the holy water and his son's weapons, and they all stand ready.
So was Jacob like, all right, it's been about 30 minutes.
Right, we gotta hurry.
Yeah, we need to. They will start there. Yep, there they go. There they are.
Here they come. Jacob stops them before they can open the door. He promises to fight with them to the bitter end, but says that when he finally succumbs to his vampirism, he won't be Jacob anymore. He will be a lapdog of Satan.
The way he says that line is great.
Yeah.
It does make me laugh every single time.
He asks Kate, Scott, and Seth to promise him that they'll take him down no different than any of the rest. Seth promises him, then reluctantly Kate and Scott do. He asks his children why he doesn't believe them and asks them again to swear to God that they will kill him. If they don't, he says he'll do it himself right now, but since they need him, they should probably swear it. The growling on the other side of the door is growing louder. He continues asking his kids, and when they don't answer him, he raises the gun to his head and says they're running out of time. He starts to count down from 5 until Kate finally yells at him that she promises she'll do it. He turns to Scott, telling him that since there's less time, he's only getting to the count of 3.
Yeah, goddamn, dude.
It's like, Dad, please, can we just... We're really preoccupied.
Right, this is a hard decision.
You're
man.
doing a lot right now.
When he gave it to 3, I was like, this is...
Yeah.
Scene. But Kate got 5.
Yeah.
Scott challenges him, saying he knows he doesn't believe in suicide, but his father counters that it's not suicide if you're already dead. Just before he gets to 1, Scott swears to God that he will kill his father when he changes. The Fuller family stands in tableau, Scott with his water gun, Kate with the crossbow, and Jacob in the middle with his bat shotgun combo. Seth stands at the door, proclaiming, "Okay, vampire killers, let's kill some fucking vampires." He throws the door open and the vampires are right on the other side. But armed with his cross, Jacob takes the lead and they all back away. The cross thing works really, really
It does. They're like, oh, shit.
They should probably just walk out the front door.
Can I just say... Yeah, dude, I didn't even think of that. It's like, Jacob, lead the way.
Yeah. What the fuck?
But I just realized the big production that Jacob just made about it. Why wasn't Seth like, I'll kill your father?
Yeah.
Like, so you have to worry
Because
about
he already
it.
promised.
But he's like,
Yeah.
all right, to the count of 3. And
Yeah.
it's like, well,
Seth promised immediately. We don't know who's going to be fighting who. I need everyone to promise.
Yeah.
yeah, but that took a lot
I
of
wouldn't
time.
want to be. I wouldn't want to be stuck in there.
In a vampire?
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Kill me.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's why he's like, no.
I don't know.
Team,
To the count. There's less time.
They back them through the corridor into the main part of the bar, but it's an impasse. They all stare at each other before Seth screams at his group to kill them all. They snap into action. Scott throws a water balloon that decimates the head of a vampire. Kate shoots her crossbow, killing them. Seth impales them with his stake/drill. Jacob alternates between warding them off with the cross and shooting them with the shotgun, and Scott sprays them with holy water, making them burst into flames. Suddenly, Seth's drill stops working. That's why when you were talking, I didn't want to give it away, but yeah, it works. It works for a minute. Sex Machine glides down from the rafters onto him. Seth gets free, stealing Sex Machine's whip in the process. Sex Machine is unfazed, but Seth wraps the whip around his neck and pulls until his head comes off.
All right.
They told us.
He did.
Yeah.
Seth kicks the head away and Kate puts her foot down on it. When Sex Machine still manages to open his eyes and turn to her as a disembodied head, Kate shoots him through the eye. The fighting continues as Seth tries to get his drill to start working again, but appallingly, another head sprouts through Sex Machine's neck. He is reborn, a disgusting and animalistic vampire rat.
What the hell is that?
I don't know, but it looks fantastic.
It looks,
That's
but
why it's so gross. That's why I don't understand why Sex Machine was so special.
he's got a second form and shit.
You had the vampire rat inside you all along, Sex Machine.
Well, was he eating rats earlier? I don't know.
It is just a big rat.
They said on commentary that K&B had made that. I don't know if it was for something else.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, why don't we use that? And they're like, fuck yeah. Like they just seemed
giant rat laying around.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, dude.
Bring it.
And it's just such a weird because you have Seth there with his drill not working, trying to get to the start. Vampires are not attacking him. They're just like, what you got? What you got?
Yeah.
And then
they're waiting.
Yeah. Turn around and find a goddamn like giant rat monster.
It's like, what else?
Yeah.
What's next?
I don't know what to do.
It's all happening really fast, too.
Yes.
And I know I said it earlier too, and during this whole battle, the effects don't look bad.
No, especially the holy water stuff.
Yeah.
That's
really good.
probably the best.
Very surprised. I was like, that looks fucking good. I was like, okay.
95, 96?
6.
96. Yeah, that's wild.
But the Sex Machine rat vampire monster gets the best of Seth, who is now underneath him, fighting for his life. Kate sees, though, and comes over. She whistles to get Seth's attention, and Seth raises Sex Machine's new head up so that Kate can shoot. He gets it right between the eyes, and Seth is able to throw him across the bar where he bursts into flames. He writhes until Kate shoots him again. Jacob comes up against Frost, but is able to impale him with the barrel of his shotgun. He shoots oncoming vampires behind him through Frost's body. It was really cool. He finally takes it out and raises his gun to hit Frost, but Frost, I don't know, seemingly dies of fright right in front of him.
He's like, no, please. I'll just do it. It's fine. You don't have to do anything. I'm fine. It was weird.
It was. So I wondered that because that was my note. What happened?
I know.
Yes.
So I went and looked and seen what I could find, and the only answer I could get was because he blessed the shotgun and bat. It was an instrument to help fight. Yeah.
He's like, oh God.
So it did touch his skin, and it, I guess, killed him. I don't know.
I'll stay alive long enough for you to use my body.
Yeah.
Because that was cool.
Yeah.
The random vampires waiting in the wings advance on Jacob as Scott watches. With his father's back to him, he sees Jacob raise his gun, but the vampires suddenly lose interest and wander away. Scott calls after his father, and when Jacob turns around, we see that he has finally succumbed to vampirism. Scott eyes a dropped gun on the floor, but he doesn't have time to do anything. Jacob bites his son's neck. Scott is able to smash a water balloon against Jacob's head and grab the dropped gun. His father looks back at him, half of his head gone from the water balloon, and Scott takes his shot, invoking the names of God and Jesus Christ. He shoots Jacob in the head. This is all very sad, but he looked great. Half his head gone from the holy water.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. But Kate sees this and screams, but Seth advises her to fight now and cry later. Scott isn't given the chance to succumb to his bite as he is attacked by a group of vampires. Kate aims her gun at the vampires as they literally feast on her brother. He weakly asks her to kill him, but she says that she can't. She does, though, and Scott explodes, leaving goo where the vampires once stood. I didn't know that Scott was eating dynamite whenever his back started.
There's a lot of stuff in
But
these
thank
barrels.
God he did.
I gotta be honest, when I saw what happened to Scotty, my jaw.
It's
Yeah.
so sad. It's just sad. And I watched, she had to do that over and over again, that roll before she gets back up and tries to aim the gun. And she was just like, I don't know if she would do it like that, or should she say something first, or no, because I was going to say, I can't. And Robert Rodriguez was like, say I can't. He's like, just do it. And she does.
I know I pointed out earlier, but still, those mannequins got blown the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
That looked really cool, though.
It did.
It looked good.
But they're like, focus on Scotty.
Yeah, only look at him. Seth asks how many bullets Kate has left, but she admits that she doesn't have many. Seth tells her to go outside and start picking them off as he fights off a vampire. Another group swarms them, but the light of dawn is beginning to peek through the cracks in the barricaded windows. Kate and Seth are back to back as the vampires encroach, and Kate asks if she should save the last bullets for them. Seth tells her no, use it on the next fuck that tries to bite you. Light continues to seep through, and the vampires are trying to avoid them, but they sizzle and smoke when they're touched by it. They're like, oh shit. It's like those laser things where you have to try.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I really thought that this was a very cool visual.
Yeah.
The sunlight pouring in that way and them kind of being protected, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't like Mission Impossible through it, because that probably I know it sounds, but that might have been a little too silly.
It might have been. You know, honestly, what they could have done is duck down, because they're really helping the vampires by blocking the rays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good
1,
point.
2,
Yeah.
3. And then just-
Down.
Yeah.
Seth tells Kate to shoot more holes in the windows, and she does, realizing that they can't go into the light. Someone knocks on the door, proclaiming that they're looking for their friend Seth. I can't imagine what you can hear outside of the bar.
Yeah.
But he's just like, I'm looking for my friend Seth.
Okay, one thing. He said before dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, he
Fucker.
did.
Number 2, that voice is very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Seth screams at them to kick in the door. Without a moment of hesitation, they do. They shoot holes in the door, exploding vampires with the blasts and with the sunlight that they're letting in. The door finally opens to reveal Carlos, played by Cheech Marin.
Swear to God.
Love it, man.
I know. He's flanked by Manny and Danny, played by Mike Moroff and Christos. Kate and Seth run to the open door, and the full sunlight catches the disco ball on the ceiling. Light reflects to every corner of the bar, and all of the vampires finally explode.
Yeah, they're dead as disco.
Very good.
Again, this looks really cool, I think.
Yeah. Outside, Carlos asks what the fuck was going on in there. Seth punches him in the face. He asks him why. Out of every place in Mexico, why did they have to meet here? Carlos shrugs, offering that one place is just as good as another.
I do want to say about Cheech playing Carlos as well.
Yeah.
They said on commentary that it was supposed to be Eric Estrada,
Oh, wow.
but he dropped out.
That
Really?
would have been
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And I guess since Cheech was hanging out
Yeah.
playing 2 characters,
Yeah.
they're like, why not go for
You
the...
want to put on
Fuck
another
it.
costume, Cheech? Seth asks if he's ever been in that bar, and Carlos says no. He's driven past it, though, and it's a rowdy place. It's in the middle of nowhere. No cops would be there, and it's open from dusk till dawn. Seth had said, too, that he wanted to meet in the morning. But Seth tells him that since he picked this place, Richie is dead, and so is Kate's entire family. Carlos asks if they were psychos, and Seth asks him if they looked like psychos. He explains that they were vampires and that psychos don't explode when the sun hits them.
Well, you ever been to Texas? Pretty hot outside.
I exploded.
Yeah. The drive here today was...
Literally.
Fuck.
Carlos asks how he can make it up to him as Kate stands dazed behind them. Seth says that he can't make it up to him, but 15% instead of 30% for his stay at El Rey is a good place to start. Carlos smiles and counters 28%.
That's...
It's insulting.
I can't even believe that. You go down to...
Yeah, no shit.
That's how you haggle.
I mean,
But
I
this-
get it, but yeah.
Seth reminds him that his brother is dead. He's not coming back, and it's Carlos's fault. He offers 20%. They shake hands and both say 25 at the same time.
Why would Seth lose 5 more percent?
Well, because he knew that that's what he was going to
Well, and he was right, I guess.
Kate drops her gun and walks away. Carlos tells Seth that he looks like hell and offers him beer from the car, but Seth just walks back up to the Titty Twister and lowers his head.
What a crazy night, huh, guys?
Yeah,
We're the only ones left, but everybody's dead.
that was wild, right?
Everybody's He said it with a smile.
Everyone's dead.
Everybody's dead. I think that at this point, I forgot exactly how it ends if people part company.
Yeah.
I'm like, Kate's like, so do I live with you
Literally.
now? Or, like,
Are you my dad?
What happens now?
Later, Seth counts out Carlos's cut as Carlos assures him that the 6-year-old car he provided for him is basically like new. It's too much.
Did you hear what he said?
What?
He goes, I was just going to call him Cheech. Carlos goes, no, I bought it from whoever guy. He was like, he only drove it like 14 times in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
It's like, what? A specific batch of numbers.
This is your car, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, because he was like, you said it would be new. It's a 90. He's like, no.
yeah,
It's fine. It's fine.
14 times.
Seth asks if he's just supposed to follow him to El Rey, and Carlos says yes, heading for his car. Seth turns to Kate and apologizes. Kate laughs bitterly before telling Seth that she's sorry too.
I think that was very polite of her. She should have reacted like Nancy in The Craft. Just, he's sorry.
Sorry. Well, yeah, this is all your fault. We wouldn't have even been here.
No.
Yeah.
He hands Kate a wad of cash and tells her that he'll see her. Abandoned and alone, Kate asks Seth if he wants some company. He asks her if she even understands what El Rey is, and she admits that she doesn't. Carlos interrupts them, standing outside of his car, telling Seth that it's time to go. Seth just tells Kate to go home and gets into his car. Before closing the door, he admits that he may be a bastard, but he's not a fucking bastard. He pulls out, following Carlos down the road. Dark Night by the Blasters begins to play again as Kate looks after them and then over to the RV. We see her pulling out of the Titty Twister parking lot in the motorhome, away from the bar and dozens of forgotten trucks. We pull away, revealing the bar to be just the top level of an Aztec temple, half buried in the sand. The music continues and the credits roll.
The matte painting is pretty fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
They had said on commentary as well with the going to El Rey thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of meant to be symbolic of Carlos being the devil and taking Seth to hell.
Okay.
For everything he's done. And that's why he's sparing Kate from going with him. And that's why Carlos is like, it's time to go.
all right.
I like that. I always thought it was, like kind of like a place where fugitives go to retire or whatever.
Yeah.
To retire.
And well, you know what I
Wow.
mean? Like they got away. And so he's like, I'm not going to subject you to this life. Go live. Here's some money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
I thought it was like a free-for-all.
No, yeah, that's
Or
what I was
that-
going to
yeah,
say. I
yeah.
thought it was maybe like a lawless place. It's like, look, we can hide here, but there is danger.
Yeah.
I didn't
know-
mean retire as in like,
No.
An alligator butler.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. But I have to ask, what did you guys think of From Dusk Till Dawn?
I still really enjoy this movie. I had a really good time. Yeah, there's some problematic things said, and a couple of things that go on in the movie. Richie's not great. We'll just point that out.
Yeah.
Richie is a big problem. He dies.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
That is cool.
But I mean, once you get in and it crosses the line between crime drama into vampire movie, it just goes and goes, and it's a wild ride, and it's very entertaining. And I mean, I guess I could see how people probably wouldn't really like the movie. I get it. It does move very fast. There's a lot of things that just kind of happen back to back. And I do get that feeling, like you said, T. I can't remember if we talked about it on the show or before, about that some of it felt like it was done on the day.
Yeah.
Like it was like, you know what? Let's just try this.
What were you referring to? The rat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's no backing for the rat. There's no foreshadowing of the rat.
Right. There wasn't one scurrying around somewhere earlier. Just
Never saw one rat. So yeah.
And I get it, but I still feel like it's a very, very fun time. It's a good movie. Get past the problem stuff, and it's really good. Like, it's really, really good. I would recommend anyone to watch it. It's a vampire movie.
I mean, I still have a lot of fun with it. I think it really is. That's what it boils down to. Is it's supposed to be a fun time at the movies.
Yeah.
And you watch it and you have fun. You don't try to dig into it. Like, why the fuck is that rat there?
Yeah.
There are some questions you just don't ask.
No, especially about the rat.
Why is there a rat? Is
That's
one
the
of
main question
Hey,
to keep to yourself.
if Tom Savini wants to turn into a fucking rat,
That's on him.
that's fine.
That's on him.
I love it.
Yes. I look, and we'll talk about the rat later. But I just
If that rat shows up on your cons list.
we'll talk. I think it's a very fun melding of styles of Tarantino-esque like crime dialogue, and then this like kind of just ridiculous and exploitation drive-in vampire movie. And so, I mean, exactly as you said, I can see how this could not be someone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because the transition, there isn't a transition. It just is.
Yeah.
We're a vampire film now.
Yeah. That's it.
That's what's up. So I get how that could be a little jarring for people.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of fun with it. I will say, it's not perfect for me. I will say even some of the vampire stuff doesn't work exactly for me.
Yeah.
Some of the designs, for example, where I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
You're just doing your own thing. Cool. But the good far outweighs any of that.
Oh yeah.
And it's really fun. And if you watch it, I think you will have a good time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely agree. I really love this film. I first and foremost want to shout out that vampire rat.
You better give him his love now.
Because I have a really bad feeling that he's about to be slandered. I really love this. Even the shit that kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense, or different varying designs of vampire. We don't know how vampires work.
We have a good idea.
Humans come in all shapes, all sizes. Vampires is probably the same thing. Some of them have stomach mouths. Some of them are rats.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah,
That's
but
not our business.
why was he the final boss with the sex machine?
Yeah. Why transform into that?
Yeah, and of all people, he wasn't their leader.
That's my
Yeah.
thing.
Santonico, pandemonium.
She should have been, if anybody.
Yeah.
But it also that made me laugh a lot because I don't know why he was why sex machine was so special.
Maybe like a giant snake.
Sure.
That would have maybe made some more
That would have
sense.
been
Even that.
foreshadowed.
Yeah.
Yes, that
But,
I would have been okay with.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit here and let us be mean to this rat for too much longer. But it did look great.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
There was a glance.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, the meme with the boy and the cop.
Yes.
That's kind of how I feel right now.
I all of that I don't really care. The stuff that we pointed out that doesn't fully make sense and like their plans, and kind of even what how these vampires are killed, how they change and become vampires or get real fast and loose. It doesn't really matter. It moves so fast that it's like you're on a roller coaster. And I'm just enjoying the ride. I know that there is stuff that doesn't make sense, and I personally, it's all about the journey of every film for me. And there are some films where I know that didn't make any fucking sense, or that's kind of breaking its own rule, which is usually like a sin that I can't get past.
Mm-hmm.
But some films, it's like, dude, it's just the journey, it's just the ride. Like, this is just a lot of fun. We can kind of slide into ratings because I'm already headed in that direction anyway.
Slide into ratings.
Slide into ratings. Or I shouldn't have said anything and just had no transition like this film.
You're like, 8.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what the fuck? But that aspect is a huge pro for me. I love the fact that nobody could have possibly seen any of that coming. And that we've kind of cultivated this story just to throw it out the window a little bit more than halfway through. And I think that's really brave to write.
Yeah.
And to be able to execute it in a way that is still entertaining. It's just, I am in awe. There was a lot of language and shit that didn't age well. I always kind of tell myself when we go back kind of 90s or prior, you're probably gonna hear some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But like John Paul had said at the beginning, if you can get past that, it's so much fun. And yeah, the characters are really unlikable, but you know, I'm not. I don't want to say I don't care, but that's not why we're here. We're not here to watch Seth Gecko learn a lesson. Like, that's not why we're here. We're trying to survive the night. We are rolling with the punches on this fucking wild ass ride. That's what we're doing. And there's a vampire rat. But the cast is great. I really, really love the story. And the effects, we always talk about practical effects for the win. And even, you know, sometimes when the seams show a little bit, that just adds to the character. For me, it just makes it more fun. But I really, really love this film. I really, really love it. And it is still such a blast to be able to revisit it and be like, oh shit, you know, when stuff happens, when I know the story, I know what's going to happen, but it's still so engaging and so fun that I am still invested. So I'm going to stop rambling. But on a scale from 1 to 10, brutally bloodthirsty bars.
All right.
I've been stuck between two numbers. I am going to go with the higher one just because this movie is so much fucking fun and I had a lot of fun talking about it. And we're recording this on my birthday, so I'm feeling the love and the vibes. We're just going to go with the higher number. So on a scale from 1 to 10, brutally bloodthirsty bars, I am giving From Dusk Till Dawn 9 out of 10 brutally bloodthirsty bars. This movie is a fucking blast. I've loved it since the very first time that I watched it. There are aspects of it that don't age well. I'm not going to say that it's a perfect film and it deserves a 10, but to me, it's pretty fucking, it's close. It's got charm. I really love it, but I will now open up the floor to you.
I think we're about in the same boat here. I really enjoy this movie a lot. And really, if it is kind of like a grindhouse movie, isn't it supposed to be grimy and really scummy and like the worst of the worst people or whatever? You know what I mean? Bad shit happening. So,
rat monsters.
Yeah, yes, rat monsters.
We'll talk.
That doesn't excuse Richie's character behavior when that
For
you
sure.
know, but I mean, I guess that's why that's why his character was like that. But you know, other than that, I'll be honest, if we didn't have any of that and we kind of switched up some of the language for other, like maybe a fucker or fuckface or asshole or something else here and there, I think the movie would be perfect. Like, really, I loved the shit out of this movie. And even the things that I pointed out, the mannequins blowing up and the whatever, that's why I liked it.
Yeah, it's like, who cares?
Yeah, that's why, because I can see, oh, you know what I mean? They really did do that. This isn't a big budget, whatever. They're doing something that they love. This isn't, and even if they have the backing for it, these are still a couple of guys who are trying to do something that they really, really love with their friends and the people that they know, and you can feel it in there.
And if you're doing a throwback, you kind of got to have the seams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's meant to be shown.
Yeah. But I really enjoy this movie. It is a bit of a just kind of like you said, it throws us in there. That's it. Or there is no transition. It's just, this is what it is now. It's a vampire flick. Cool. Right? Yeah. I was like, all right,
Well, keep up.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, but it is really good. I'd recommend anyone to watch it. I mean, there's really not much more I can say. I do like the effects. I do like everybody in it. I like the action. The end of it, it is like a roller coaster, but I feel like it's a good one.
Yes.
It's not one you want to close your eyes and peek at. You want to keep them open the whole time. You're going upside down and everywhere, and you know what I mean. It's a really good time, and I'd recommend it. So for me, on a scale from 1 to 10. Brutally bloodthirsty bars. I'm also gonna give From Dusk Till Dawn a 9 out of 10.
Hey,
I really, really enjoyed this movie, and even still watching it now, at 38, I still did smile at those key moments that I remember. You know what I mean? Everything. Like I said, dude turning around and he turns into a vampire and all the bats are coming behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sex machine, being there.
Being sex machine.
Yeah, being sex machine. The dick pistol coming out and all that. And
Dick still.
Well, come on.
But you know what I mean? It is very fun. And yeah, it is of its time. But if you can get past all the stupid shit that they have in there that's not needed, but it is, it's a great time. Like, it's a really good movie.
Plus Hail Ratma, right, guys?
I'll answer now. I'll give my thoughts very quickly. I agree with you guys, probably about 98%. I had a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun watching this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, positives, we've gone over them. Cast. One thing we did mention, not only the soundtrack,
Oh.
but Tito and Tarantula, fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is such good, and it fits so perfectly.
Hell yeah.
I think that the cinematography is fun. Goes hand in hand with a lot of these quick cuts and edits. Some of them don't make a lot of sense. But at the same time, I mean, you're trying to capture a certain era.
Yeah.
And they didn't make sense then either. So, sure, we'll have him be a vampire with a massive head.
Yeah.
And then we'll have him with tiny teeth or whatever.
Yeah. And then not.
And
yeah.
not explain it.
Who cares?
But that just reeks of, okay, we have two ideas. For the vampire.
Let's do both.
Let's put both in there.
Do both.
But I think that the cast is surprising every single time I watch it. Fantastic group of people. Tarantino does not do bad in this role.
Not at all.
This is one of the roles that you said a lot of people will talk shit about him for. I don't see it.
No, he does
I
what he's
don't.
supposed to do.
Yeah. George Clooney. He's George Clooney.
Yeah.
I think that my main point of contention is whenever it kind of does that shift, I really I think I like the Road movie more.
Right.
But I do like what they do with the vampire business.
Okay.
I think sometimes it gets a little too cartoony for me.
Like when?
Well,
Right, point it out, because I didn't
Cite
see
your
it.
sources.
Yeah,
I remember, I seem to recall some kind of like fucking giant rat monster crawling out of a leather jacket.
Right?
What
Oh,
movie
terrifying.
were you watching?
I don't know. Not this one. But I think that did the rat have to be that big is what my question is.
Yes.
I have no problem with the vampire bat. I have no problem with the vampire rat. I would love to see.
Dr.
Yeah.
Seuss.
I will eat them in a boat. I have no problem with like if I see a little rat with vampire teeth. That's fine.
So if it was smaller.
Yeah, if he crawled out of his jacket like he's just always been there.
That's not scary. That's
But
just
he's
a rat
just-
crawling out of the jacket.
Yeah, but it makes a lot more sense. Sex Machine had a pet rat. He also bit the rat. I don't know.
Was he Spider-Man? What the fuck?
Sure, yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
then now that would get a little too cartoony.
Yeah, I was like, you would be yelling louder than anyone.
As it jumped up.
Oh, so he bit the rat?
It's like
Okay.
on Seth's neck or whatever. He's trying to. Yeah, never mind. You're right.
Ratatouille from hell.
So he controlled him the whole time. That's even better, dude. Yeah, give me the tiny rat. Call his agent. Give me the tiny rat. But I think that's about covers it.
Can we get a number from you?
Oh yeah. For me, out of 10 brutally bloodthirsty bars,
Yes.
I'm gonna give From Dusk Till Dawn an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
All right.
I enjoy this movie a lot. I think the Tarantino flair helps it so much for me
Yeah.
because some of the dialogue is like really, really good, and you can just feel his is the essence of him as a writer.
Right.
Yeah.
But who wrote who put that rat in there?
Well, that's all from us at Pod Mortem. What would you rate From Dusk Till Dawn, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Twitter at the Pod Mortem. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Twitter at Blood and Smoke, at RealStreeter84, and at TravisMWH. Thank you to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon and stay tuned until after the music for a special shout out to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, in a world full of bad decisions and murky morality, It's important to know when to stand together to fight the real enemy. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned for our special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Yeah! Woo!
We got there.
There was a stumble.
A special thank you to
Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Thomas, Travis and Nisa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Spooky Mom, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Antonio Huerta, Kimberly Kleindienst, Will Brown, Sydney Smith, Osvaldo Soto, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Brittany Ramatar, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Eden, Jordan Roberts, Dylan,
Melissa Sierra, Holly Bryan, Jordan Blevins, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M., Gary Horton, Leisha Olivier, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun, Mandy M., Scott Troutman Wise, Towton Watson, Mozzie Bear, Brittany G., Dave Burke, Adrian Stakes, Nick Spill, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G., Emiliana, Brian Glass, CB, Maya Noches, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Ben Coons, Cookie, Esperanza J., Jason Kyle OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Hannah R., Brandon, Nicholas Carter, Sawyer Reese Farr,
Dr. Diva Loves Horror, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William and Xxena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Natalie de Guzman, Eileen O., Marissa E., Sydney, Henry F., Megan M., Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Jason Hanavan, ML Tafoya, Abigail Spitzer, Katie K., Erica Morin, Cameron S., Nicole Stewart, Tris Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A., Lonnie Lono, Powell, Kaylee E., Maggie H., Fernando Dominguez, Murder Stina, No Thanks Tom Hanks, Kevin McGonigal, Kristen Marcy, Ori81 Boricua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Montez Shamwell, Falnez63, Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, and Josh Blackwell.
Hey.
What a list.
Thank you all so much. It's like we're having a patron blowout.
Oh, God.
Like we got nice patrons, generous patrons, kind patrons, sweet patrons, beautiful patrons, thoughtful patrons. Get one patron, get the next one for a penny. I don't know.
I appreciate it.
I did my best.
That was very well done. Happy birthday.
Thank
Yes,
you very
happy
much.
birthday.
Thank you. Until next time.